Chapter 1. In an abandoned town, 5 men stood in front of a residential building in the distance. Their faces were solemn. It was noon, but the sky was gray and there was a thin layer of gray fog floating in the air. Combined with the surrounding ruins, the atmosphere was somewhat depressing. "We haven't been here before. There should be supplies inside." Among the 5 men, an ugly man with a face full of pimples looked at the residential building and ordered a young man beside him. "Su-Chun, you go in and check out the situation." "Chun-Dong, why me again?" Su-Chun frowned. His face was not looking good. Su-Chun was 17 years old this year. He was originally a high school student on Earth, but in a car accident, he crossed into a post-apocalyptic world. There were zombies and mutant beasts everywhere, danger lurking everywhere. In the opposite residential building, there were likely to be zombies hidden. It was too dangerous for a person to go in alone. "Su-Chun, whatever the captain tells you to do, just do it. What's with the nonsense?" A round-faced man beside Chun-Dong scolded him. Su-Chun held back his anger. "I have done this kind of thing several times before. This time it should be someone else, right?" Chun-Dong once again gave him this dangerous task. It was obviously against him. Su-Chun did not intend to hold back anymore. Chun-Dong sneered. "Su-Chun, you don't have to go in. But when we go back, I will definitely report this to the captain. If you don't follow the arrangement, don't think about staying in the colony in the future." Hearing this, Su-Chun was silent. If one wanted to survive in the post-apocalyptic world, without a safe place to live, it was absolutely impossible. The gathering place where Su-Chun was located was called Tiannan Gathering Place. It was a small and sturdy city with tens of thousands of people, and a very powerful armed force. Ordinary zombies and mutant beasts could not break into the colony. Chun-Dong's father was the deputy leader of Tiannan Colony. His power was monstrous. If Su-Chun did not listen to Chun-Dong's command this time, he would inevitably be kicked out of Tiannan Colony. Once there was no safe place to stay, surviving alone in the post-apocalyptic world was tantamount to a dead end. Su-Chun's heart was tossing and turning. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said, "I'll go." Chun-Dong comforted him with a smile. "Su-Chun, don't worry. If you encounter any danger, we will definitely rush to your rescue." "Why would you be so kind?" Su-Chun sneered in his heart, but he didn't say anything. He held a machete and carefully walked toward the residential building. When Su-Chun entered the residential building and disappeared, Chun-Dong's face darkened. He snorted coldly in his heart. "You dare to steal my woman? I'll play you to death." In the Tiannan colony, there was a great beauty called Tan Lin. Chun-Dong had been in love with Tan Lin for a long time. He had pursued her many times, but he had always been rejected. The reason Tan Lin gave was very simple. She liked Su-Chun. Regarding this, Chun-Dong was extremely annoyed, and also extremely confused. Su-Chun had no power or influence in the Tiannan colony. Even his martial strength was at the bottom. Other than being somewhat handsome, he had no other redeeming qualities. In order to survive in the post-apocalyptic world, could being handsome be eaten? In the end, it was still power and martial strength. Since he couldn't win Tan Lin's heart, Chun-Dong vented his anger on Su-Chun. Every time he went out to search for resources, Chun-Dong would give the most dangerous job to Su-Chun. His intention was to kill Su-Chun. However, Su-Chun's life was tough enough. He was able to escape death several times. Chun-Dong didn't care. If he couldn't kill Su-Chun once, then he would do it twice. If twice wasn't enough, then he would do it a few more times. As long as Su-Chun was in the Tiannan colony, he would have a way to kill Su-Chun. Chapter 2. The light in the residential building was dim, silent, and filled with a strange atmosphere. Su-Chun tightly held the chopping knife. Because of nervousness, his palms were full of sweat. He glanced at the corridor of the first floor, did not find any zombies, took a deep breath, and slowly walked to the second floor. When he was about to reach the second floor, suddenly a kacha sound was heard. Su-Chun inadvertently stepped on a hard object and made a slight cracking sound. Oh no! Su-Chun's heart tightened. Zombies' hearing is very sharp. If there is a zombie hiding here, after hearing the sound, it will inevitably launch a crazy attack towards him. Woo-woo! Sure enough, the roar of zombies soon came from the second floor. Zombies! Su-Chun's scalp exploded. and without thinking he turned around and ran. When he ran to the corridor of the first floor, he glanced behind him. Why is there only one zombie? Suchin slightly froze. The roar of zombies on the second floor was very dense. Estimated that there were at least 10 zombies, but only one rushed down. Moreover, it was an injured female zombie, with disheveled hair and a ferocious face. One of its legs was broken, and it walked with a limp, moving very slowly. Facing a seriously injured female zombie, Suchin slightly narrowed his eyes. There is an energy stone in the heart of a zombie, and energy stones are a hard currency in this world. Not only can it be used to increase the body's strength, but it can also be used to buy food, weapons, and so on. The price of an energy stone is definitely not cheap. Suchin planned to kill the zombie and rob the energy stone. When the female zombie came close, Suchin dodged sideways, at the same time avoiding the zombie's bite. The chopping knife in his hand chopped down. Kacha sound, the chopping knife embedded into the back of the female zombie's head. If you want to quickly kill a zombie, the best place to attack is the head. However, the zombie's head was much harder than the other parts of her body. Suchin's slash didn't kill the zombie completely, but only caused her to be seriously injured. The female zombie was badly injured and roared crazily. Her two arms kept waving, but she couldn't touch Suchin at all. Suchin kicked the female zombie over, pulled out his machete and hacked at her head. Bang bang. Ka. After a few more hits, the female zombie's head was finally smashed. She lay on the ground and twitched a few times before she finally stopped moving. Suchin quickly dug out a peanut-sized crystal from her heart. When he was about to leave, he suddenly saw the female zombie's body lit up with a golden light. Fragments? Suchin was stunned. He could clearly see that the light came from a fragment that looked like a golden musical note. What is this? Suchin had killed zombies before, but he had never seen a fragment. He stared at it for a while, then reached out to touch the golden fragment. Just as his fingertips touched the fragment, it suddenly disappeared without a trace. At the same time, a strange voice echoed in his mind. Picked up level 1 all attributes fragment *1, 1. The number of fragments is full can be used. Use. Suchin subconsciously replied, and suddenly a picture appeared in his mind. Host Suchin Evolver level 1 Psychic, Spirit Reader level 1 Magic Reader level 1, All System Magic Reader. Chapter 3. Suchin had no time to be shocked as the image appeared in his mind. He felt a subtle change in his body. His body was much stronger than before, and there seemed to be a huge amount of energy flowing through his body. At the same time, some knowledge about the control and use of psychic energy and mana appeared in his mind. This is too awesome. Suchin murmured, his expression was blank. In this world, there were two very powerful professions. One was an evolver, and the other was a psychic. The former focused on tempering the body. The latter was further divided into spirit reader masters, who mainly cultivated spiritual power, and magic reader masters who cultivated magical power. Suchin did not expect that the golden shard he picked up by accident would not only make him a level 1 evolver, but also a psychic with both psychic and mana psychic. Am I dreaming? Happiness came too suddenly, and Suchin even doubted if it was real. In order to verify it, he used the knowledge in his mind to control his psychic energy. Brother Dong, Suchin has been in there for quite some time. Could he have been killed by the zombies? The chubby man walked to Chendong and whispered. Earlier, there were dense roars of zombies coming from the residential building, but it quickly calmed down. The chubby man also suspected that Suchin had been killed by the zombies. No rush, we will go and take a look later. Chendong squinted at the residential building, and a cruel smile appeared on his face. If Suchin was killed by the zombies, that would be the best outcome. If Suchin wasn't dead, he wouldn't be in a hurry to go over. After all, he had to make Suchin suffer. Suchin released his psychic energy, and the image of the residential building appeared in his mind. It was much clearer than with his eyes. With the continuous release of his psychic energy, the range of his vision was increased to about 10 meters. I have really become a level 1 psychic. Suchin was shocked. A level 1 psychic did not have any attack power, but they could detect the situation around them. Through this, he was certain that he was indeed a level 1 divine psychic. With the help of his mental strength, Suchin became bolder and walked straight to the second floor. He had heard a lot of zombies roaring before, but when he used his spiritual power to investigate, he didn't find a single zombie in the corridor on the second floor. When he reached the second floor, he scanned his surroundings and found that there were 2 rooms with their doors tightly shut. Could it be that the zombies are all in the room? Suchin had some doubts, so he controlled his spiritual power to extend into the room. Soon he saw 7 or 8 zombies gathering in the room on his left, and 2 more in the room on his right. So they were all locked in the room. After figuring out what was going on, Suchin continued to walk up to the 3rd floor. This residential building originally had at least a dozen floors, but the upper floors had all collapsed, leaving only 3 floors. There was only 1 room on the 3rd floor, and the door was also tightly shut. Suchin saw through his spiritual power that in addition to the 2 zombies in the room, there was also a pile of food, mostly canned food. Seeing this, Suchin's eyes suddenly lit up. In the post-apocalyptic world, food was very scarce. The food in the house was definitely a fortune. If he could get all of it, he wouldn't have to risk his life to search for resources for a long time. Suchin took a few deep breaths and tried to stay calm. Suddenly, a thought appeared in his mind. Chapter 4. Suchin didn't stay here for long, quietly left the residential building. Brother Dong, Suchin came out. The chubby man's eyes never left the residential building. When he saw Suchin, he hurriedly reported to Chendong. Seeing Suchin come out of the residential building safe and sound, Chendong's face showed a trace of disappointment, but it was quickly replaced by a touch of ruthlessness. Suchin, did you go in to check? Are you hiding in the corner, trying to be perfunctory with us? When Suchin came near, the chubby man went up to him and questioned him face to face. Just now we all heard the zombies' roars. Suchin, tell us the truth. Are you too scared to go in to check? The next guy with a wretched appearance echoed. Suchin was the weakest of the 5 of them. If he met a zombie alone, he might not be able to beat it. And from the zombies' roars that came out of the residential building, there were at least a few zombies. How could Suchin come out alive? Chendong's face immediately became gloomy and fiercely said to Suchin, Suchin, this is the thing that I have arranged for you. If you dare to be perfunctory, don't blame me for being impolite. Suchin's eyes flashed a cold light, took a deep breath and said, I have checked the situation inside. There are a lot of zombies in the 2 rooms on the 2nd floor, but they are all locked in the room and can't come out. And in the room on the 3rd floor, in addition to 2 zombies, I also found a lot of food. What did you say? You found a lot of food? Chendong was a little uneasy. The other 3's eyes also brightened. In the post-apocalyptic world, the value of food is self-evident. If Suchin's words were true, if they can get this batch of food, they will definitely make a great contribution, and their status in Tiannan will definitely skyrocket. Suchin, is what you said true? Chendong stared intently at Suchin, wanting to make sure that Suchin was telling the truth. Suchin nodded heavily and promised, what I said is absolutely true. Suchin, you did very well this time. When we return to the settlement, I will definitely report this matter to the leader. Chendong was overjoyed and praised Suchin. Of course, he was only saying it verbally. He hated Suchin to the bone. So how could he claim credit for Suchin? As for the matter of killing Suchin, seeing that Suchin had performed well this time, he planned to let Suchin live for a few more days. It wouldn't be too late to kill Suchin when the next mission came. Thank you very much. Suchin forced a smile. He clearly knew what kind of person Chendong was. Regarding Chendong's words, he directly treated it as a fart. Suchin, you lead the way. Chendong was somewhat impatient. Suchin didn't say much, turned around and ran towards the residential building. Chendong and the other 3 people followed closely behind. Entering the residential building, Suchin made a silent gesture and signaled the 4 people to follow behind. When they reached the 3rd floor, Suchin pointed at the door and whispered, It's here. Suchin, are there really only 2 zombies inside? Chendong seemed a little nervous. If there were only 2 zombies, the 5 of them could easily kill them. But if there were too many zombies, they would be in danger. I saw it clearly, there were really only 2 zombies inside. And I was the one who closed the door. Su Chen explained. Chendong nodded and ordered. We are all ready, Su Chen. You go open the door. Su Chen walked to the door and grabbed the door handle. Using his psychic detection, Su Chen saw that the door was locked, and it was impossible to open it easily. However, Su Chen was now a level 1 evolver, and his strength was incomparable. With a strong twist, the door opened with a kacha sound. After the 2 zombies in the room heard the noise, they roared and rushed towards the door. Su Chen opened the door completely and retreated to the side. Chapter 5. Do it. At the same time, Chendong and the other 3 attacked the zombies. Generally speaking, zombies were very aggressive, and non-evolutionaries were no match for zombies. However, Chendong and the other 3 had been dealing with zombies for a long time, and they were very experienced. They quickly suppressed the 2 zombies with their teamwork. Su Chen stood aside and looked, and quietly went down to the 2nd floor. Puchi. Ka. With a few crisp sounds, the 2 zombies were easily killed. Brother Dong, Su Chen seems to have disappeared. The chubby man dug out the energy stones from the zombies and looked at the door, but he did not see Su Chen, so he quickly reported to Chendong. Don't worry about that coward. Let's hurry up and carry as much as we can. Chendong's attention was focused on the room, and he did not care about Su Chen at all. The room was filled with food, and most of them were canned meat. We are rich. The chubby man and the other 2 rushed toward the canned food excitedly. Damn it, why are we robbing? It's all ours, let's take the canned food first. Chendong shouted. Su Chen stood outside the room on the 2nd floor, and heard the noise from the 3rd floor. And a strange smile appeared on his face. Then he kicked the door with all his might. Bang! A loud sound was heard. The door of the room was kicked open with a single kick. The zombies inside were stunned for a moment, and then rushed toward Su Chen crazily. Su Chen did not stop, and ran toward the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor, the chubby man was carrying a lot of canned food, and almost bumped into Su Chen. When he saw a few fierce zombies following behind Su Chen, the chubby man's face turned green, and the canned food in his arms fell to the ground. Su Chen, F***ck your sister. The chubby man cursed, and ran into the room. The sudden appearance of so many zombies in the corridor was definitely caused by Su Chen. As for why Su Chen would do this, he had no time to think about it. When Su Chen saw that the fat man was about to run away, he stretched out his hand and pointed forward. A green ray of light shot out from his finger, and shot to the feet of the fat man in the blink of an eye. It then turned into a green vine and wrapped around his ankle. Su Chen was using a small spell of the Dharma Psychic Master, the Wood Entanglement spell. The fat man couldn't move his feet and fell to the ground with a bang. Brother Dong, save me. The chubby man was lying on the ground. His face had turned green from fright as he screamed desperately. But his shouts were soon drowned out, and the zombies that rushed up directly pounced on him. One of the zombies opened its bloody mouth and bit at the fat man's thigh. Bright red blood spurted out, and the smell of blood instantly filled the corridor. Chendong and the other 2 heard the commotion, and quickly rushed out of the room. When they saw the chubby man's miserable appearance, and the numerous zombies in the corridor, their faces changed greatly. Kill! Chendong forced himself to calm down, pulled out the machete at his waist, and slashed at a zombie. The other 2 also reacted, took out their weapons, and attacked the zombies together. The zombies were not to be trifled with. When they saw Chendong and the other 2, they fiercely rushed up. Even the zombies that were biting the chubby man also joined in the attack. Su Chen hid in the corner of the corridor, but he was not spared. One of the zombies found him, and rushed towards him. Chapter 6. Go to hell. Su Chen swung his machete and infused his power into it. With just one swing, the zombie's head was split in half, and it died on the spot. After killing the zombie, Su Chen did not continue to attack, because the rest of the zombies were besieging Chendong, and the other 2. The wretched man beheaded a zombie, but was pushed to the ground by another zombie. A bloody hole was bitten open on his neck, and bright red blood spurted out without any regard for his life. Without the perverted man, Chendong and the other 2 were under a lot of pressure. They were forced to retreat back into the room. Su-Chen, what the hell are you doing? Come and help us. Chen Dong shouted angrily when he saw Su-Chen standing outside and enjoying the show. Su-Chen looked on coldly and did not move. Chen Dong had been targeting him and trying to kill him several times. He was not stupid and knew it clearly. He was weak and had no choice but to compromise. But now it was different. He was not only an evolved human but also a psychic. He had enough power to deal with Chen Dong. The purpose of attracting the zombies was to kill Chen Dong and the other three. Why would they help him? Ah, help me. At this moment, another heart-wrenching roar was heard. The man beside Chen Dong was pushed to the ground by the zombies. His body was bitten by the zombies and blood was gushing out of his wounds. Ah, go to hell. Chen Dong was terrified. He swung the machete in his hand and cut down 2 zombies. However, a total of 7 zombies rushed towards Chen Dong. The remaining 3 zombies crazily attacked Chen Dong. Although Chen Dong was not weak, he could not withstand the attacks of the 3 zombies and was pushed to the ground. Ah! Chen Dong was pushed to the ground and let out a desperate roar. The 3 zombies didn't care about that. They opened their bloody mouths and kept biting Chen Dong's body. In the blink of an eye, Chen Dong's body was drenched in blood, and his body was twitching nonstop. Su-Chen didn't want Chen Dong to die so easily. He walked forward and flicked a fireball, directly blowing up the head of a zombie. The 2 zombies that were originally lying on Chen Dong's body roared and rushed towards Su-Chen with bared fangs and claws. Su-Chen flicked his finger, and a gray wind blade shot out. The first zombie that rushed forward was swept by the wind blade. Its head split open from the middle, and it fell to the ground powerlessly. The last zombie had just rushed in front of Su-Chen when it was chopped to death. Chen Dong was still breathing. When he saw Su-Chen easily kill the 3 zombies, his eyes widened and he said with a trembling voice, "Are you an evolver or a psychic master?" Su-Chen acted as if he didn't hear anything. His attention was focused on the last zombie, because another white shard appeared in front of him. A white shard. Su-Chen was pleasantly surprised. The golden shard he picked up earlier turned him into an evolver and a psychic master. He was very excited to see the shard again. Su-Chen took a deep breath and grabbed the white shard. Picked up 10 cubic meter storage bag shard *1. 1. The number of shards is full can be used. Use. As soon as he finished speaking, a palm-sized gray bag appeared in Su-Chen's hand. At the same time, some information about how to use the storage bag appeared in his mind. Su-Chen's heart skipped a beat. He released a trace of his psychic power and extended it to the storage bag. Then he stuffed the chopper into the bag. His chopper was more than a meter long, and it should have been impossible to stuff it into the bag. However, the storage bag was like a bottomless pit, and it easily stuffed the chopper into it. Chapter 7. Seeing this, Su-Chen's face showed a touch of joy. He could already confirm that the yellow cloth bag in his hand was indeed something similar to a storage space. Then he calmed himself down, carefully put away the storage pouch, and walked up to Chen Dong. "Su-Chen, why didn't you save us?" Chen Dong stared at Su-Chen, gritting his teeth and asking. Su-Chen was obviously strong, but he could only watch as he was bitten by zombies, which made him extremely angry. Su-Chen smiled contemptuously. "Didn't you deliberately want to harm me? Why should I save you? You such a cruel heart." Chen Dong's eyes were full of hatred. At the same time, his heart was full of regret. If he knew that there would be a day like this, he would have killed Su-Chen earlier. "You should save your strength. You're about to become a zombie." Su-Chen rubbed his nose and said lightly, "Once bitten by a zombie, if you don't die on the spot, you will be infected and become a zombie. And the more serious the injury, the faster you will be infected and become a zombie." Chen Dong's body was full of scars, and it won't be long before he becomes a zombie. Hearing this, Chen Dong's face changed dramatically. After turning into a zombie, they would lose their consciousness and become a walking corpse, just like the living dead. Chen Dong didn't want to become a zombie even if he died, so he used all his strength to beg for mercy. "Su-Chen, since we're from the same colony, please kill me." "Don't worry, I will kill you, but not now," Su-Chen replied with certainty. "What do you mean?" Qindong immediately realized something. Suchen was waiting for him to become a zombie, and then kill him. His thoughts were too vicious. You're the one who harmed me first. You only have yourself to blame for ending up like this, Suchen sneered. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Qindong roared, but his voice quickly stopped. His face was covered with black strands, and he looked like he was in great pain and looked very ferocious. Suchen knew that Qindong was transforming into a zombie. Just in case, he took out a machete from his storage bag and was on guard. Roar. Woo-woo. Qindong trembled violently. When his eyes turned bloodshot, he jumped up from the ground and charged at Suchen with a roar. Suchen slashed out with his saber. With a raise of his hand, the saber fell and cleanly chopped off Qindong's head. Bang! Qindong's headless corpse fell to the ground, and another red light flashed from his body. Another fragment. Suchen was extremely excited. Including this fragment, he had already obtained 3 fragments today. At first, he wanted to turn Qindong into a zombie and kill him. Other than revenge, he also wanted to get another energy stone. He didn't expect that a fragment would drop, which was a pleasant surprise. Suchen grabbed the red fragment, and the strange voice immediately echoed in his mind. Picked up antivirus potion fragment *1. 1. The number of fragments is full, can be used. Use. In the blink of an eye, a small transparent glass bottle appeared in Suchen's hand. It was filled with an unknown blue liquid. At the same time, more information appeared in his mind. The antivirus potion had the effect of resisting the zombie virus. Even if one was bitten by a zombie, as long as one drank the antivirus potion in time, one would not turn into a zombie. Good stuff. Suchen was shocked. Surviving in the apocalypse, the most worrying thing was to be bitten by a zombie. Having the antivirus potion in hand was equivalent to having an extra life. From this, it could be seen that the value of the antivirus potion was no less than the storage bag. After a while, Suchen carefully put the antivirus potion into the storage bag and began to dig out energy stones from the zombies. With a total of 8 energy stones in hand, Suchen was very happy. This was a considerable amount of income. With this wealth in hand, even if he didn't go on a mission for a month, he could still live peacefully in Tiannan Colony. Chapter 8. After putting the energy stone into the storage bag, Suchen was about to collect food when he vaguely heard light footsteps coming from downstairs. Someone's coming. Suchen's expression froze as he instantly activated his spirit power and scanned downstairs. Through his spirit power, Suchen saw 2 men and a woman slowly walking up the stairs. These 3 people all had weapons in their hands. They should also be out to search for supplies. In the Tiannan Colony, there were a total of more than 10 teams searching for supplies. Suchen had seen them all before. But these 3 people looked unfamiliar. They were obviously not from the Tiannan Colony. Suchen clenched his saber and carefully waited for the 3 people to arrive. He was very clear that surviving in the apocalypse was a very cruel thing. Once there was a large amount of supplies, even people from the same colony would fight each other, let alone people from different colonies. Who are you? Did you kill all the zombies here? When the 3 people came up and saw the zombie corpses all over the floor, they were extremely shocked. I was the one who killed him. What's the matter? Suchen looked at the 3 of them and said indifferently. You can kill so many zombies by yourself? The woman among the 3 people opened her eyes wide and said in surprise. This woman looked like she was in her 20s, wearing a black vest, her body was voluptuous, and she looked seductive. The 2 men beside the seductive woman were also shocked and looked at Suchen. There were a lot of zombies killed. Even an evolved person might not be able to kill so many zombies in such a small space, right? Moreover, Suchen looked very young, his body was average, he could even be said to be thin and weak, completely unlike an evolved person. Could it be that this guy had just arrived here? The zombies here were not killed by him? The 2 men guessed. My teammates and I killed them together, but they were unlucky and were all killed by zombies. Suchen replied. He did not reveal his identity as an evolved person. The 3 of them swept their eyes over the ground and saw the corpses of the round-faced man and the other 2. "Captain, the energy stones on the zombies have all been taken away." The seductive woman turned her head to look at the bearded man beside her and reminded him. "Boy, did you take away all the energy stones?" The bearded man's expression changed as he glared at Su Chun. His gaze became somewhat unfriendly. He saw clearly that there were a total of 8 zombies here, which meant that there were 8 energy stones, which was already a considerable amount of wealth. He immediately became envious. "I was the one who killed the zombies, so why can't I take the energy stone?" Su Chun said with a smile. "So it's on you." The bearded man licked his lips and his face darkened. "Captain, there are a lot of canned food in the room. They all seem to be meat." Another man with a gloomy face shouted excitedly when he saw the canned food scattered all over the room. The bearded man and the seductive woman's hearts skipped a beat. They quickly looked into the room. "Canned food. It's all canned food, and there's a lot of food." The seductive woman was extremely excited as she walked straight into the room. Su Chun frowned slightly and blocked the entrance of the room. "The 3 of you. I was the one who found the things here first. In other words, everything here belongs to me. Without my permission, you can't just take it." "Ha!" The bearded man sneered. Originally, Su Chun had taken 8 energy stones, so he did not plan to let Su Chun go. Now that he found so much food, he could not let Su Chun leave this place alive. "Boy, if you know what's good for you, hand over the energy stones and I'll leave your corpse intact." The bearded man stopped laughing and revealed a ferocious expression. "So you don't plan to let me go?" Su Chun's voice was cold and his eyes were cold. Chapter 9. Su Chun was very clear that the bearded man and the other 2 wanted to kill him for the supplies. How could he just sit there and wait for death? At this moment, the killing intent in his heart was so strong that it could not be suppressed. "Since you don't know what's good for you, then I can only kill you." The bearded man sneered and raised the giant axe in his hand. He shouted, "Let's do it together." Although Su Chun looked a little weak, but to be cautious, he still planned to kill Su Chun with thunderous means. Kill. The shady man was the first to attack. He held an iron rod and aimed it at Su Chun's head. "You're courting death." Su Chun snorted. At the moment when the shady man attacked, he also slashed with his sword. As a level 1 evolver, Su Chun was not only stronger than his opponent, but his speed was also much faster than his opponent. Just when the shady man swung the iron rod in the air, Su Chun slashed with his sword and accurately hit the neck of the shady man. With a kacha sound, a huge head rolled on the ground. Because Su Chun's speed was too fast, the shady man did not even have time to scream before his head was separated from his body. The eyes on the head that rolled on the ground were wide open, full of fear and disbelief. You are an evolutionary." The bearded man's face changed dramatically and he shouted in shock. It happened so suddenly that he did not even have time to attack before his partner was killed. From this, it could be seen that Su Chun was an evolutionary without a doubt. The bearded man's heart turned cold at the thought of robbing an evolver's resources and threatening to kill him. "You are too slow to realize." Su Chun sneered and slashed with his sword. After all, the bearded man was a person who licked the blood on the blade. Even if he was facing a powerful evolutionary, he would not wait for death. When Su Chun slashed with his sword, he slashed with his axe. He wanted to die together with Su Chun. How could Su Chun let him do as he wished? He quickly dodged to the side, and the downward slash of the saber turned into a horizontal sweep. Rumble! The bearded man's axe heavily struck the ground, and a long gash appeared on his chest from the blade. Blood instantly dyed his clothes red. The bearded man couldn't care less about the pain in his body. He hurriedly retreated a few steps, widening the distance between him and Su Chun. "Stop, we'll leave now. Everything here is yours." The bearded man panted, his face full of fear. As soon as they exchanged blows, he was severely injured. At this moment, he deeply felt the terror of an evolved person. He could imagine that if he continued to fight with Su Chun, he would undoubtedly die within 3 moves. It's too late. Su Chun remained unmoved and charged forward with his saber in hand. If the bearded man knew how to judge the situation, and left as soon as possible, he would not have made things difficult for them. However, the bearded man had already made it clear that he wanted to harm him. Suchin would never let him go. I'll fight with him. Seeing that Suchin did not intend to let him go, the bearded man gritted his teeth and roared at the seductive woman behind him. The seductive woman's face was cloudy, as if she did not hear the bearded man's words. She hesitated for a moment, turned around and ran downstairs. Ah! The bearded man did not expect that the seductive woman would not care about his life and run away alone. He was so angry that he opened his mouth to curse, but before he could say a word, his head was chopped off by Suchin, who rushed up. Suchin killed the bearded man and narrowed his eyes to look downstairs. He saw that the seductive woman had already run to the corridor on the second floor. Do you think you can run away? Suchin sneered. He flicked a green light from his finger, and in a flash, it shot to the woman's feet. Chapter 10. The seductive woman, who was originally running madly, tripped and fell straight to the ground. Spell. Entanglement spell. The seductive woman felt that her feet were entangled by something. She struggled for a while but couldn't break free. She looked at her feet anxiously. When she saw that it was a green vine that was entangled around her feet, her face changed completely. Although she wasn't a psychic master, she had seen a psychic master in action. Therefore, she recognized the vine that was entangled around her feet. It was a spell cast by a psychic master. Da-da-da. Suchin walked down from the third floor with light steps. Every step he took made the seductive woman's heart tremble. You're an evolver and a psychic master. The seductive woman was lying on the ground. Her eyes were wide open and her brain was buzzing. Whether it was an evolver or a psychic master, they were synonymous with the strong in the post-apocalyptic world. Countless people respected them. However, it was not easy to become an evolver or a psychic master. Other than having a certain amount of talent, it also required a lot of resources. The seductive woman lived in the Blue Ocean colony. There were more than 10,000 people there. However, among so many people, there were only 9 evolvers and 1 psychic master. It was obvious that evolvers and psychic masters were rare. And Suchin was so young, but he had 2 major professions in one body. It was really too incredible. Thinking that she had provoked a monster, the seductive woman was so scared that her face turned pale and her whole body trembled. Suchin smiled and didn't say anything. The knife in his hand was slowly raised in the air. Wait, don't kill me. I'm still useful. Feeling the approaching death, the seductive woman woke up. What are you useful for? Suchin asked. The knife was still in the air. The seductive woman slowly got up and knelt in front of Suchin. Her eyes were full of lust and her face was full of seduction. She smiled and said, I'm good at serving people. As long as you don't kill me, I'll make you a groom every night. The seductive woman said as she started to undress. Suchin suddenly felt a chill all over his body, and a feeling of nausea welled up in his heart. Admittedly, the seductive woman was quite beautiful and had a good figure. But Suchin could imagine that she must have had sex with countless men. Trash. Die. Suchin did not wait for the other party to take off his clothes. He was afraid of dirtying his eyes, so he mercilessly slashed down. You. The seductive woman didn't understand until she died. She was such a beautiful woman, so why would Suchin still want to destroy her? Kacha. The seductive woman's head was split into 2, and the red and white matter scattered all over the ground, thus ending her filthy life. Bah. Suchin spat at the corpse of the seductive woman before turning around and returning to the third floor. He hadn't searched the bodies of the bearded man and the sinister man yet, and he had to take away the supplies upstairs as well. As for whether the seductive woman had any energy stones on her body, Suchin didn't plan to search. It was too dirty. 10 minutes later, Suchin returned to the second floor. He found 2 energy stones on the bearded man's body, which could be considered as an extra income. In addition, the food in the room was also swept clean by him, and all of it was put into the storage bag. There were 2 zombies in another room on the second floor. Since Suchin picked up the fragments, he became more and more interested in killing zombies. Bang! Suchin kicked open the door and rushed in with his blade. Puff puff 2 sounds. Suchin wielded 2 knives in a row. His hands rose and the knife fell, and the 2 zombies were killed cleanly. But unfortunately, There were no fragments this time. Su Chen dug out 2 energy stones and walked out of the residential building. Chapter 11. Su Chen looked at the sky and decided to return to the Tiannan colony. It would take at least 2 hours to reach the Tiannan colony. If he could not return before dark, it would be very dangerous for him to be alone outside. Zombies liked to move around at night, and when they appeared, they would gather in groups. Even an evolver would be in danger if he encountered a large group of zombies. After that, Su Chen rushed to the Tiannan colony without stopping. Along the way, he would quickly kill the zombies he encountered. However, after killing a few zombies, there were still no fragments. Su Chen was not too disappointed about this. He had figured out that it depended on the probability of fragments being dropped. If he could not get a fragment this time, he might be able to get one next time. Moreover, he had already picked up 3 fragments today, which was more than what he had gained in a year after the apocalypse. He was already quite satisfied. 2 hours later, the sky was dark. Su Chen hurried and finally arrived at the gate of the Tiannan colony. The Tiannan colony was built on a flat plain. It was circular in shape, surrounded by huge green stones that were 7 or 8 meters high. It was difficult for ordinary zombies and mutant beasts to cross such a height. Moreover, there were guards on the wall 24 hours a day. Once they found something unusual, they would immediately warn. Therefore, it was very safe to live in the Tiannan colony. There was no need to worry about the attacks of zombies and mutant beasts. However, the management of the Tiannan colony was also very strict. Once it was nighttime, the gate of the Tiannan colony would be closed. Except for some special people, no one was allowed to open the gate. For insignificant people like Su Chen, no one would open the gate for him. It was easy to imagine what would happen to him. Su Chen walked to the gate and was stopped by a guard. The duty of the gate guard was to check the identity of the person who entered, and to check if the person was injured. Especially those who were bitten by zombies, they were absolutely not allowed to enter. Su Chen, why did you come back alone? Where is Captain Su Chen and the others? The guard checked Su Chen's body and asked. Su Chen had been out searching for resources all year round, so he was very familiar with the guards guarding the gate. They haven't returned yet? Su Chen asked with a solemn expression. On the way back, he had already thought of a countermeasure. After all, Chen Dong's identity was rather special. His father was a deputy chief. If he did not handle it well, he would be doomed eternally. Captain Chen and the others haven't returned. What's going on? What happened? The guard realized the seriousness of the situation. Su Chen explained. We entered an abandoned city. Originally, we wanted to search for some supplies, but we didn't expect a large number of zombies to gather there. We were all scattered. Are Captain Chen and the others still alive? The guard asked nervously. Su Chen shook his head blankly. This is an important matter. Hurry up and report it. The guard hurriedly checked and let Su Chen pass. Then I'll go and report it. Su Chen replied and hurried into the settlement. In the post-apocalyptic world, a group like Su Chen's that was responsible for collecting resources was called a mercenary group. The headquarters of Tiannan Mercenary Group was set up not far from the entrance of the settlement. The head captain was called Wu Yang, a middle-aged man with a rough appearance. Of course, to be able to become the head captain, his strength must be extraordinary. Wu Yang was a level 1 evolver. When Su Chen entered the headquarters of the mercenary team and reported the situation, Wu Yang's expression changed. Su Chen, is what you said true? You didn't lie? Wu Yang stared at Su Chen. Chapter 12. Chen Dong was the son of Chen Haiyang, and if anything happened to him, even Wu Yang would not be able to explain himself. It's true. Su Chen nodded. Wu Yang observed that Su Chen did not look like he was lying. He sighed deeply and shouted to a guard. Go and ask Deputy Leader Wu to come here. Yes, sir. The guard replied and left in a hurry. Su Chen stood on the side with a calm expression. Soon, Chen Haiyang arrived with a murderous aura. As soon as he entered, he shouted angrily at Wu Yang. Wu Yang, what happened? Why didn't my son come back? Wu Yang frowned slightly. He was quite dissatisfied with Chen Haiyang's attitude, but he endured it and explained. Chen Dong and the others were attacked by a large number of zombies. They might have been trapped and could not escape. Wu Yang's words were still relatively soft. In fact, everyone understood that if they were surrounded by a large number of zombies, the only end result would be death. Chen Haiyang was obviously not satisfied with Wu Yang's explanation. The veins on his face bulged as he stared at Su Chen. My son was trapped. How could he come back alive? Su Chen and Chen Dong were in the same team. Chen Haiyang had seen him before, so he could recognize him at a glance. Su Chen thought for a moment and replied. At that time, we were separated by a large number of zombies. Chen Dong and the others may not have been surrounded by zombies. Maybe they have escaped to a safe place, but they can't get away for the time being. Is that so? Chen Haiyang sneered and walked to Su Chen. His eyes were cold as he asked. Chen Dong and the others are stronger than you. How could you come back alive? Why couldn't they come back? What are you hiding? Chen Haiyang was furious. Even if Su Chen was telling the truth, he did not want to let Su Chen have an easy time. Su Chen's pupils shrank, and a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. With his current strength, a mere Chen Haiyang was nothing in his eyes. However, Chen Haiyang was also a level 1 evolver and had a high position in Tiannan. If he was killed, he would become the enemy of the entire Tiannan colony. At that time, they would be besieged by a large number of experts. It would be very difficult for them to continue staying in Tiannan. There's nothing I can do if you don't believe me. Su Chen put away his killing intent and shrugged, ignoring Chen Haiyang's threat. Looking at Su Chen's fearless look, Chen Haiyang was furious. He threatened fiercely. It seems that you won't tell the truth if I don't teach you a lesson. As soon as he finished speaking, he raised his hand to teach Su Chen a lesson. Wu Yang couldn't stand it anymore. It was one thing for Chen Haiyang to be so arrogant in his territory, but he even dared to teach his subordinate a lesson in front of him. If news of this got out, where would he put his face as the head captain? How was he going to lead his subordinates in the future? Deputy Chief, please wait. Wu Yang stood in front of Su Chen. Wu Yang, are you trying to cover for him? Chen Wu Yang gritted his teeth, and his face became even more ferocious. Wu Yang was enraged. He had given Chen Wu Yang enough respect, but he didn't expect Chen Haiyang to be so arrogant. Even a person made of clay would have a temper, not to mention that Wu Yang's position in Tiannan colony was not lower than Chen Haiyang's. Wu Yang said coldly, Deputy Chief, you can't touch Su Chen before we get to the bottom of this. This is the rule of Tiannan colony. Chen Wu Yang calmed down when he saw that Wu Yang was about to offend him. There was indeed such a rule in Tiannan colony. Without any evidence, no one was allowed to harm the people of Tiannan colony. It was a strict rule, and it was put forward by the leader, Jin Jianshi. Even though Chen Haiyang was the deputy chief, he dared not go against the rule. Jin Jianshi was a level 2 evolver, and his anger was not something Chen Haiyang could bear. Chapter 13. Chen Haiyang suppressed his anger and said, Wu Yang, I'll give you face today. However, Su Chen must be locked up. If we don't find out where my son is, we can't let Su Chen go. Wu Yang nodded in tacit agreement. As the deputy leader of Tiannan, it was reasonable for Chen Haiyang to make such a request. He. Su Chen laughed contemptuously and said, What right do you have to lock me up? Without any evidence, how could Chen Haiyang control him so easily? Others might be afraid of Chen Haiyang's identity as the deputy leader, but Su Chen didn't care about him at all. Hearing this, Wu Yang was stunned. He didn't understand why Su Chen dared to speak to Chen Haiyang in such a tone. Was there something wrong with his brain? Chen Haiyang's mouth twitched, and his face turned gloomy. He gritted his teeth and said, Because I'm the deputy leader of Tiannan. So what if you're the deputy leader? You can ignore the rules just because you're the deputy leader? You can bully the weak because you're strong? Su Chen curled his lips and sneered. Listening to your tone, those who don't know would think that you're the leader. Do you think Tiannan is your home? What do you say? Why are you acting all high and mighty here? Wu Yang was dumbfounded by what he heard. The Su Chen today was too different from before. It was as if he was a completely different person. Facing the powerful and special Chen Haiyang, not only was he fearless, he didn't even take him seriously. Was he really fearless? Or was he fearless because he didn't know? Wu Yang couldn't tell. Chen Haiyang's face turned pale. He clenched his fists so hard that they made cracking sounds. A murderous aura surrounded him. A mere ant dared to act arrogantly in front of him? If they weren't in the mercenary group's headquarters, he would have killed Su Chen long ago. Seeing that Su Chen was really angry, Wu Yang quickly came out to smooth things over. Deputy Chief, how about this? Let's just let Su Chen stay at home. Before we get to the bottom of this matter, we won't let him walk around. Chen Haiyang gritted his teeth. His sharp eyes revealed a hint of cruelty. He sized up Su Chen and sneered. Kid, you have guts. Let's wait and see. With that, he swung his arm and walked out. It would not be easy to kill Su Chen in such a situation, but as long as Su Chen did not leave the Heavenly South Assembly Point, he had plenty of ways to deal with Su Chen. Moreover, he would not let Su Chen die so easily. He wanted to make Su Chen suffer a fate worse than death in order to appease the anger in his heart. Just as Haiyang Chen was about to walk out of the room, Su Chen raised his voice and said, Chen, I'll be waiting for you. Since he had already fallen out with Chen Haiyang, he might as well provoke him again. If Chen Haiyang Chen dared to make a move, he would take the opportunity to kill him. At worst, he would just betray the Heavenly South Assembly Point. When Haiyang Chen heard Su Chen's words, he staggered and almost fell. However, he did not say anything and left without looking back. At this time, Wu Yang walked to Su Chen's side and smiled bitterly. Su Chen, you're too impulsive. Previously, Su Chen did not give Haiyang Chen any face at all. He had completely offended Haiyang Chen. With Haiyang Chen's vengeful personality, he would definitely seek revenge on Su Chen. Su Chen might even lose his life because of this. It's okay. Su Chen smiled faintly. Captain Wu, I'll go back first. Yes. Wu Yang nodded and whispered. You must be careful. Don't worry. Su Chen replied and turned to leave. Looking at Su Chen's back, Wu Yang sighed faintly. Sigh. He's still too young. Su Chen's house was a shabby one-story house. It looked a little shabby, but at least it had its own courtyard. When he got home, he opened his storage bag and took out a can of food and leisurely ate it. Zombies. Zombies are attacking. There are too many zombies, run. Su Chen had not eaten much when there was a sudden commotion outside. Chapter 14. What's going on? Did the zombies really invade? Su Chen's face changed as he thought quickly. Tiannan Bay City's walls were high and thick. Normal zombies would not be able to break through. Could it be high-level zombies? Zombies were the same as humans. They had different levels. Powerful zombies were equivalent to evolvers. The higher the level of zombies, the more intelligent they were. If Tiannan Bay City was really invaded, Su Chen suspected that there must be high-level zombies among them. Su Chen. But at this moment, a beautiful young woman with a graceful figure rushed in a panic. Tanlin, why are you here? Su Chen's eyes lit up. Tanlin was one of the most beautiful women in Tiannan Bay City. She had countless pursuers, but she ignored them all. She only liked Su Chen. After a year of slowly getting to know each other, he and Tanlin got along very well, and their relationship grew warmer. Tanlin became the person Su Chen cared about the most in this post-apocalyptic world. Su Chen, it's not good. The base has fallen. There are zombies everywhere. Let's run. Tanlin explained while panting. Let's go. Su Chen did not have time to ask. He got up and ran outside with Tanlin. At this time, there were sounds of fighting outside. It was very likely that a large number of zombies had appeared in the base. The longer they stayed, the more dangerous it would be. Unexpectedly, just as they ran to the entrance of the courtyard, they were forced to stop. Su Chen, tell me where my son is, or I will kill you. The person who came was none other than Chen Haiyang. He was staring at Su Chen fiercely with a giant axe in his hand. Deputy leader, there are zombies everywhere. Let's get out of here first. Tanlin was anxious. She did not know why Chen Haiyang wanted to interrogate Su Chen, but the situation was critical. They just wanted to get out of here first. If you don't want to die, then scram. Su Chen's face sank. He was too lazy to explain. Tiannan colony had already fallen into the enemy's hands. Chen Haiyang, as the deputy chief, didn't go and kill the zombies. Instead, he came looking for trouble. Su Chen was very unhappy. If Chen Haiyang insisted on stopping them, he wouldn't mind killing him. How arrogant. Let me see what you're made of today. Chen Haiyang was enraged. He raised the giant axe in his hand and a cruel look appeared in his eyes. As soon as he finished speaking, the giant axe in his hand chopped down at Su Chen. Tianlin was so scared that her face turned pale as she screamed. Su Chen had long been on guard against Chen Haiyang. At this moment he moved his feet and pulled Tianlin to retreat. Gotcha! The huge axe fell from the sky, and fiercely chopped at the place where Su Chen had been standing, and split open a huge hole in the ground. How is that possible? Chen Haiyang's eyelids twitched. He didn't expect Su Chen to be able to dodge his fatal attack. You're asking for it. Su Chen's eyes flashed coldly. He raised his hand and a wind blade flew out. Spell. Psychic. Tianlin's eyes were wide open, and her expression was a little sluggish. She clearly saw that the wind blade released by Su Chen was a psychic spell attack. However, she had been with Su Chen for a year, and she had never seen Su Chen use a spell. She also didn't hear Su Chen mention that he was a psychic. Spell. Chen Haiyang was also shocked. He quickly pulled back the giant axe and blocked in front of his chest. With a bang, the wind blade hit the giant axe, and a string of sparks flew. Chen Haiyang was also knocked back 2 or 3 steps. Although he wasn't hurt, he was terrified. Su Chen was also a Dharma psychic master. This was something he did not expect. At this time, Su Chen had already arrived in front of Chen Haiyang, and he swung his blade horizontally. What's going on? Chen Haiyang's heart skipped a beat. Su Chen's speed was too fast and he wasn't any slower than Chen Haiyang. Could it be that Su Chen was also an evolved person? Chen Haiyang's heart was filled with doubts, but he didn't have time to think about it. He raised the giant axe and blocked the incoming blade. Clang! The blade and the axe collided with each other, and a loud sound was heard. Chen Haiyang felt a strong force penetrating his body, and he couldn't help but take 2 steps back. As he retreated, he shouted in shock, "Evolved person! You're also an evolved person!" Once a human evolved, the most obvious change was that their speed and strength would increase tremendously. Su Chen had both, and it was obvious that he was an evolved person. Evolved person. Tianlin's mind was buzzing. At the same time, Su Chen also took 2 steps back. Just as he steadied himself, he raised both of his hands. A fist-sized fireball flew towards Chen Haiyang, and a green light shot towards Chen Haiyang's feet. Fireball spell. Chen Haiyang's face changed completely. Normally, a psychic only knew how to use spells of one element to attack. A dual-element psychic like Su Chen was extremely rare. Thinking that Su Chen was also an evolved person, Chen Haiyang was extremely frightened. He threw away his axe and turned around to run. Chapter 15. The giant axe collided with the fireball, creating a loud explosion and sparks flying everywhere. Haiyang Chen wanted to escape, but he felt that his legs were bound by something. He could not move at all. What is this? Haiyang Chen subconsciously looked down at his feet. When he saw that it was a green vine that was wrapped around his feet, his face was filled with deep fear. Would elemental entanglement? Just as this thought flashed through Haiyang Chen's mind, he saw Su Chen holding the saber with both hands and chopping down. No! Haiyang Chen wanted to escape, but it was too late. He could only watch as death approached and let out a desperate cry. Su Chen swung his sword and split Haiyang Chen's head in half. Plop! Haiyang Chen's body fell to the ground, blood splattered everywhere. He died just like that? Tianlin murmured, her face full of shock. The fight between Su Chen and Haiyang Chen seemed to have lasted for a long time. But in reality, it only lasted for a few breaths. In such a short time, a level 1 evolver died under Su Chen's sword. Even though Tianlin saw it with her own eyes, she still felt that it was unbelievable. Tianlin, let's go. Seeing that Tianlin was still in a daze, Su Chen quickly called out to her. Oh! Tianlin came back to her senses and quickly ran towards Su Chen. When the two of them came out of the courtyard, They were shocked by the scene in front of them. The entire gathering place was burning with fire, and even the sky was dyed a fiery red. A large number of zombies had divided the humans into countless groups. The battle cries and screams were mixed together, and the scene was extremely chaotic. Su-Chen could clearly see that although the human side was fighting to the death, they were at an absolute disadvantage. With the continuous addition of zombies, their final fate was only a dead end. Su-Chen, what should we do? Tan Lin had never seen such a bloody and terrifying scene. She was scared out of her wits. Follow me. Su-Chen looked around and pulled Tan Lin out of the city. In the current situation, the only way to survive was to escape from the colony as soon as possible. However, he wasn't sure if he could escape, so he could only give it a try. Be careful. All of a sudden, 2 zombies rushed towards Tan Lin. Su-Chen reacted quickly and pulled Tan Lin to the side. He swung his sword horizontally. Puff puff. The 2 zombies that rushed up were beheaded and died on the spot. When one of the zombies fell, its body lit up with a blue beam of light. Fragments. Su-Chen's eyes lit up. Even in such a critical situation, he did not intend to give up. He rushed forward and grabbed the fragment. Picked up level 1 pulse pistol fragment *111. Fragments are full. Ready to use. Use. In Su-Chen's hand, a shiny silver pistol appeared. It was similar to the Desert Eagle he had seen in the game in his previous life. At the same time, there were more methods of using the pulse pistol in his mind. Su-Chen glanced at it, and threw the pulse pistol into his storage bag. Su-Chen, what are you doing? Seeing Su-Chen grab a handful of air, and then a strange thing appeared in his hand, Tan Lin's head was full of question marks. You can't see the fragments? Su-Chen was surprised. The beam of light from the blue fragments was very obvious. It was reasonable to say that Tan Lin, who was so close, should have seen it. What fragments? I can't see anything. Tan Lin was even more confused. Chapter 16. Su-Chen was surprised. He guessed that he was the only one who could see the fragments. Let's go. Su-Chen didn't have time to explain to Tan Lin. A group of zombies nearby had just killed a small group of humans, and were rushing towards them. Su-Chen pulled Tan Lin, and ran towards the gate of the gathering place. At this moment, there were hundreds of humans gathered outside the gate. It was obvious that they also wanted to escape. However, there was also a large group of zombies outside the gate. The 2 sides were in a fierce stalemate. From time to time, there would be humans or zombies dying on the spot. It was very tragic. Su-Chen knew that if he wanted to live, he had to rush out of the gate. The moment he rushed out, he raised his hand and shot out a fireball. Boom! A loud sound was heard. The fireball exploded in the group of zombies and blew up a few zombies. Su-Chen was now a level 1 psychic. The power of the fireball was limited, but the effect it brought was extraordinary. Brothers, a psychic is attacking. Everyone, let's charge. Kill. When the humans saw that a psychic had joined the group, their spirits were suddenly lifted, and they madly rushed towards the zombies. Relying on this suicidal momentum, he was able to open up a gap in the group of losers. Su-Chen pulled Tan Lin and followed behind. From time to time, he would shoot out fireballs or wind blades, providing the humans with powerful firepower. After rushing out of the gathering place, Su-Chen and his group were still in danger. There were too many zombies nearby, and they quickly surrounded them. Su-Chen let Tan Lin follow behind him while he rushed to the front. He kept swinging his sword, and every time he swung it, a zombie would die. When the surrounding people saw that Su-Chen was so brave, they were greatly encouraged and displayed their super strong combat power. After an unknown amount of time, when Su-Chen killed a zombie, there were no more zombies blocking the way. We finally made it out. At this time, Su-Chen was covered in blood and panting. There were only a dozen people around him, including Tan Lin, who were still alive. Su-Chen, there are zombies chasing after us. Before Su-Chen had time to take a few breaths, Tan Lin suddenly reminded him from behind. Su-Chen turned around and saw a large group of zombies running towards them. There were more than 100 of them. Although they rushed out of the encirclement, the zombies obviously did not intend to let them go. The zombies are coming, run. The surrounding people did not dare to stay any longer. They were so scared that they scattered in all directions. Let's go. Suchin clenched his teeth and pulled Tan Lin forward. Ah! Save me! Mournful screams echoed in the night from time to time, piercing deeply into Suchen's ears, making him even more nervous. The speed of ordinary human beings was no match for that of zombies. The screams meant that the zombies had caught up with those people and killed them. Suchen, don't worry about me. Run by yourself. Seeing that the zombies were getting closer and closer, Tan Lin decided to stay by herself. Because Suchen was an evolved person, if he ran by himself, the zombies would not be able to catch up with him. On the contrary, if she continued to stay by Suchen's side, it would seriously slow down Suchen's speed. If this continued, both of them would not be able to survive. Shut up, even if I die, I will not leave you behind. Suchen's attitude was firm. He held Tan Lin's hand tightly, as if he was afraid that she would break free. Why are you doing this? Tan Lin's eyes were wet. She was touched, but more than that, she felt guilty. Because of her, Suchen would most likely die with her. Chapter 17. Suchen dragged Tan Lin and ran for more than 100 meters, but the zombies still caught up with them. Keeping Tan Lin by his side, Suchen licked his dry lips and slowly raised the machete in his hand. Suchen, are we going to die? Tan Lin snuggled up to Suchen's body, feeling particularly warm. She was not afraid, but more than that, she was reluctant to part with him. A group of walking corpses. Suchen laughed wildly, raising his hand and shooting out a fireball. The first zombie that rushed up was blown into 2 pieces. The rest of the zombies turned a blind eye and crazily rushed toward Suchen. Those hideous and terrifying faces gave people a kind of suffocating fear. Tan Lin was already scared out of her wits, and her whole body was trembling. But Suchen was not afraid. He released a wind blade, and 2 zombies were beheaded on the spot. When the other zombies rushed closer, the machete in his hand swept out, and a violent force was transmitted from the blade. In the blink of an eye, another 5 zombies were killed on the spot. One of the zombies' body lit up with a black light beam. Black fragment. It was the first time Suchen saw a black fragment. He wanted to pick it up, but there were too many zombies around, and he simply could not free his hands. Once again, the machete chopped out, and a strong wind whistled. Kacha! In the sound of bones breaking, several zombies that tried to rush up died under the machete. But there were too many zombies, and soon Suchen and Tan Lin were surrounded in a narrow space. At this critical moment, a light came directly, followed by the roar of a car. Tiannan Colony's MCV. Suchen, we are saved. Tan Lin was surprised. Suchen's heart was also moved. Tiannan Colony's MCV was about the same size as a van in his previous life. It was covered with thick iron sheets, which could withstand the impact of a small number of zombies. Coupled with its relatively fast speed, it was a very safe means of transportation in the apocalypse. There were only 3 such vehicles in the Tiannan gathering place. The arrival of the MCV immediately attracted the attention of the zombies. Half of the zombies that were originally surrounding Suchen rushed toward the MCV. Bang bang. Clang clang. The MCV rolled over, and all the zombies that rushed to stop it were all knocked away. Squeak. With a sudden breaking sound, the MCV stopped in front of Suchen in a beautiful and elegant manner. Louis, get in the car. The moment the car door opened, a burly man with a rough face rushed out. It was Wu Yang, the head captain of the mercenary team in Tiannan. Captain Wu. Suchen's expression changed. He did not expect that not only did Wu Yang not die in the colony, he even came to help him. Hurry up and get in. Wu Yang roared, holding a thick broadsword with both hands, and waving it fiercely. The zombies that dared to approach were all chopped into pieces, and fell to the ground. Suchen reacted, and covered Tan Lin to get on the MCV, while he stayed outside. He did not want to get in. Suchen, get in the car quickly. Seeing Suchen was reluctant to get in, Tan Lin anxiously urged him. Suchen, it's too late. In addition to Tan Lin, there were 2 other men on the MCV, and at the moment, they were also shouting at Suchen. Close the door. Su Chen replied, and turned to Wu Yang and said, Captain Wu, let's join hands and kill this group of zombies. What? Are you crazy? Wu Yang blurted out in shock, almost thinking that he had misheard. There were still 70 or 80 zombies surrounding them, and they wanted to kill them all with just the two of them? Wasn't that just courting death? At this moment, Wu Yang even suspected that Su Chen's brain was damaged. Chapter 18. Su Chen is crazy. Does he think he is an evolved human? Even if he is an evolved human, it is impossible for him to kill so many zombies. One of the two men in the car, a skinny man with a wretched appearance, sneered. When they arrived, they did not see Su Chen fight, so they did not know how strong Su Chen was. Su Chen insisted on killing this group of zombies. In addition to getting more than 100 energy stones, it was more for the fragments. Of course, it wasn't easy to kill so many zombies. Su Chen was a psychic and evolved human, and with Wu Yang's help, there was a high chance that he could kill the group of zombies. Even if he could not stop the attack of the zombies, he could just get in the car and run away. In order to reassure Wu Yang, Su Chen decided to show his strength. A fireball was shot out, and in the violent explosion, a zombie's head was blown to pieces. Su Chen rushed forward with his sword. Waves of sword light flashed, harvesting zombies like harvesting wheat. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen zombies died under his sword. My mother is here. Seeing this scene, Wu Yang's jaw almost dropped. In his impression, Su Chen's strength was at the bottom of the mercenary team. How could he become so strong in the blink of an eye? Su Chen was not only a psychic, but also an evolved human. Wu Yang did not know much about psychics, so he did not know how strong Su Chen was. However, as a level 1 evolved human, he had a deep understanding of Su Chen's strength. Su Chen was killing zombies like cutting vegetables. His strength was much stronger than a veteran evolved human like him. At this moment, he no longer doubted Su Chen's ability to kill the group of zombies. He raised his sword and joined the ranks of the zombies. How did he become so powerful? The wretched man in the car had an extremely ugly expression on his face. He was also a member of the mercenary team. Although he was not in the same team as Su Chen, they knew each other. In the past, he and Su Chen were recognized as the weakest group. However, who would have thought that Su Chen's strength was so strong that he could only look up to him? This huge difference made him deeply jealous, and a trace of unwillingness and resentment flashed in his eyes. Su Chen is too strong. He is a cultivation genius. Beside Tan Lin stood a short and sturdy man. He was not as dark as the wretched man. After seeing Su Chen's strength, he shouted excitedly. He had never seen or heard of anyone who could become a psychic and evolved human at the same time, but Su Chen did it. In his heart, he felt that using the word genius to describe Su Chen was not enough. It was more appropriate to use the word monster to describe him. Tan Lin bit her lips, and her eyes were shining. She knew that Su Chen was strong, but at this moment, her heart was still surging with emotions. When she chose Su Chen, many people advised her that Su Chen was not worthy of her. However, she liked Su Chen's steadiness, intelligence, and responsibility. She decided to be with Su Chen. She always thought that Su Chen would be outstanding one day, and countless people would look up to him. She did not expect this day to come so soon. Tan Lin wanted to roar out loud. Look at how outstanding the man I chose is. Are you jealous? Are you jealous? Are you regretting it? But it's too late because Su Chen is my man. No one can take him away. Chapter 19. Outside the MCV, Su Chen and Wu Yang had joined hands to kill most of the zombies. The remaining zombies were no longer a threat to them. Captain Wu, let's work harder. Su Chen kept waving his machete, killing countless zombies. Good. Don't leave a single one alive. Wu Yang was very excited. Since he became the captain of the mercenary team, he rarely hunted zombies outside. His drive to kill zombies when he was young had gradually faded. Now that he was working together with Su Chen to kill zombies, he was reliving the hot-bloodedness of his youth. At this time, he was like a lion that had been awakened. His strength was fully unleashed, and he killed zombies even faster than Su Chen. In less than 5 minutes, The remaining zombies were all slaughtered by the two of them. Su Chun and Wu Yang stood proudly in the same place. Zombies were lying on the ground around them. None of them were alive. Oh my god. Su Chun and Captain Wu actually did it. The short man opened his mouth wide. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. If he didn't see it with his own eyes, he would never have thought that the two of them could kill so many zombies. This kind of battle record, no one would believe it. Su Chun squinted his eyes and looked around. He saw that there were 10 beams of light on the zombie corpses. 10 fragments. Su Chun was a little excited. He didn't expect that so many fragments would appear at once. Taking a deep breath and calming down, Su Chun said to Wu Yang, "Captain Wu, let's hurry up and dig out the energy stones." More than 100 zombie corpses meant more than 100 energy stones. This was definitely a huge fortune. No one would not be tempted. "Li Liang, Chao Ran, come down and help." Wu Yang shouted toward the MCV and took the lead to dig out the energy stones. The wretched man Li Liang and the simple and honest man Chao Ran happily rushed out of the MCV. Tan Lin also followed. Su Chun was not in a hurry to dig out the energy stones, because there were still 10 fragments waiting to be picked up. He grabbed one of the black shards, and a voice sounded in his mind. "Picked up Doomsday Mall Fragment X1, 110. Fragments are not full, cannot be used." It was Su Chun's first time encountering a situation where the fragments were not full. He was slightly stunned and ran towards the other fragments. What is Su Chun doing? Seeing Su Chun running around and grabbing at the air from time to time, Chao Ran asked curiously, "Forget it. Let's hurry up and dig for energy stones." Tan Lin suspected that Su Chun was picking up the fragments mentioned before, but this was Su Chun's secret, so she didn't expose it. On the other side, Su Chun kept picking up the fragments, and the strange voice in his mind kept echoing. "Picked up Intelligent Chariot X1, 110. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Picked up Ungraded Gatling Gun X1, 13. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Picked up Hard Fruit Seed X1, 11. Fragments are not full, can be used. Picked up Pet Potion X1, 11. Fragments are not full, can be used. Picked up Big Dipper Stone X1, 110. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Picked up Level 1 Mechanical Soldier X1, 110. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Picked up Super Electric Drill X1, 11. Fragments are not full, can be used. Picked up Doomsday Mall X1, 210. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Picked up Antivirus Potion X1, 11. Fragments are not full, can be used. There were a total of 10 fragments, 4 of which could be used directly, and 6 of which were not full, could not be used. Chapter 20. The fragments that could be used were the Hard Fruit Seed, Pet Potion, Super Electric Drill, and Antivirus Potion. The Hard Fruit Seed was a yellow seed that looked like a melon seed but was the size of a palm. After being planted, it would grow into a 2-meter-high and 1-meter-wide nut in a very short time. This nut was like a rock, hard and indestructible. Ordinary weapons would not be able to hurt it at all. Su Chun thought that if he had a lot of hard fruit seeds, he could build a small shelter. But if there was only one, it would not be very useful. The Pet Potion was a small glass bottle filled with green liquid. Its main function was that as long as a mutant beast drank it, it would be 100% loyal to its master. This made Su Chun quite interested. In the post-apocalyptic world, the number of mutant beasts was not small, and they were very strong. They were not inferior to evolvers. Su Chun thought that with the Pet Potion, he could constantly tame mutant beasts, and even form an army of mutant beasts. And this army would be loyal to him. At that time, he would be able to do whatever he wanted in the apocalypse. The Super Electric Drill was something similar to an impact drill, 1 meter long. Ordinary impact drills were powered by electricity, while the Super Electric Drill was powered by energy stones. As long as an energy stone was installed, it could be operated by pressing a switch. The drilling power was very strong, and even some hard rocks could be easily broken. As for the Antivirus Potion, Suchin had obtained a bottle before. It was a good thing to save his life. As for the fragments that could not be used, there were 2 Doomsday Maul, 1 ungraded Gatling gun, 1 Celestial Star Fragment Stone, 1 Level 1 Mechanical Soldier, and 1 Intelligent Chariot. Although there were so many fragments that could not be used temporarily, Suchin was not too disappointed. As long as he kept hunting zombies, these things would be collected eventually. After picking up 10 fragments, Suchin also began to dig for energy stones. After 10 minutes, all the energy stones were dug out. Everyone got on the MCV and quickly left. Inside the MCV, under the leadership of Suchin, they began to distribute the energy stones. A total of 130 zombies were killed, and correspondingly 130 energy stones were dropped. Suchin killed the most zombies, and according to the principle of the more work, the more the reward, he got 60. Wu Yang had also killed quite a lot of them, so he got 40 of them. As for the remaining 30 energy stones, Tan Lin and the others each received 10. Chao Ran gripped the 10 energy stones and beamed with joy. In his previous mercenary career, he had never received so many energy stones at once. 10 energy stones was definitely a considerable amount of income to him. Tan Lin and Wu Yang were also very happy. Among the 5 of them, only Li Liang had a sullen look on his face. Even though 10 energy stones wasn't a small amount, every time he thought about how Suchin obtained 60 energy stones in one go, the jealousy in his heart would start to cause mischief. However, due to Suchin's powerful strength, he didn't dare to say anything. Suchin, when did you become a psychic mage and an evolver? After putting away the energy stones, Wu Yang turned to Suchin and asked. The others were also very interested in this point, and all of them pricked up their ears and listened carefully. A year ago, but I don't like to be in the limelight, so I have been hiding it. Suchin fooled around. He would not say that he improved his strength by picking up fragments. Moreover, this was a fantasy story, and even if he said it out loud, no one would believe it. You are really low-key. Wu Yang smiled. He didn't think that Suchin was telling the truth, but everyone had their secrets, so he didn't need to get to the bottom of it. Chapter 21. Tan Lin has a good eye. Chao Ran sighed with emotion. When Tan Lin had chosen to date Suchin, he had the same thought as everyone else. He did not understand why Tan Lin would choose Suchin. Suchin was too weak and had no background. He was too ordinary. Now that he thought about it, Tan Lin had good taste. Who would have thought that Suchin, who looked ordinary, had hidden his strength so well? Tan Lin smiled sweetly and looked at Suchin affectionately. At the same time, she was glad that Suchin had hidden his strength. Otherwise, there would be many beauties in Tiannan Colony who would be attracted to Suchin. She might not be able to be with Suchin. Suchin rubbed his nose and suddenly thought of something. He asked, Captain Wu, why are there so many zombies in the colony? Tiannan Colony had high walls and tight defenses. Logically speaking, it should have been impossible for zombies to break through. Even now, he still couldn't figure out how the Heavenly South Assembly area had fallen. Because Jean Jiasher had turned into a zombie, Wu Yang said seriously. What? Suchin was shocked. Jean Jiasher was not only the leader of Tiannan Colony, but he was also a level 2 evolver. How could he turn into a zombie? Wu Yang sighed and explained. Jean Jiasher seemed to have turned into a zombie on purpose. He was nearing the end of his lifespan. If he did not turn into a zombie, he would die. Turning into a zombie was not a bad thing. At least his lifespan was unlimited. As long as he was not killed, he could live forever. But turning into a zombie would make him a walking corpse. That would be worse than death. Why did he turn into a zombie? Suchin could not understand. That might not be the case. Wu Yang took a deep breath and continued. In the process of turning into a zombie, there is a chance that he will retain his memories and thoughts. Of course, the probability is very small. Does that mean that Golden File has become an intelligent zombie? Suchin's eyelids twitched. Once a zombie gained intelligence, it would have the potential to become a zombie king. Slowly, it would be able to lead a large number of zombies and become a great enemy of human beings. That is indeed the case. At that time, I also discovered this point. Therefore, I rushed out of the Tiannan colony and luckily escaped with my life, Wu Yang said with lingering fear. So that's how it is. Su Chen suddenly understood. Jin Jianshi was originally a level 2 evolver. After becoming a level 2 evolver, he became even more powerful. Coupled with their intelligence, they could do whatever they wanted and stir up trouble in the Tiannan gathering place. Captain Wu, what should we do next? After catching his breath, Su Chen asked. The Tiannan colony was occupied by the Golden File and a large number of zombies. There was no way they could go back. Without the shelter of a gathering place, it would be very dangerous if they were to encounter a large group of zombies. Let's go to King Kong City. Wu Yang thought for a while and replied. King Kong City was a large gathering place. Its scale was 10 times larger than Tiannan's, and its population was as high as 200,000. Not only were there many strong people in the city, but the mayor, Huang Can, was also a powerful level 3 evolver. It could be said that King Kong City was the safest gathering place in the area. Even if they were to face a zombie army led by a zombie king, they would not move. Why not go to Blue Ocean's gathering place? Chao Ren asked curiously. Although King Kong City was safe, it was further away from them. Blue Ocean's gathering place was much closer. Su Chen also knew about Blue Ocean's gathering place. The bearded man and the other two had come from there. Chapter 22. Blue Ocean Colony is the same as Tiannan Colony. It's just a small colony. Golden File sure has gathered his zombie army, and his next step will be to attack Blue Ocean Colony. Blue Ocean said worriedly. How can you be so sure? Su Chen frowned. The others were also puzzled and looked at Wu Yang. Golden File sure is ambitious. He wanted to annex other colonies several times to strengthen himself, but due to his limited strength, he was unable to do so. Now that he has become a zombie, he still retains his wisdom. With his nature, Blue Ocean Colony will be his target. Wu Yang sighed and expressed his worries. Hearing this, Su Chen and the others' faces turned ugly. They did not doubt that Wu Yang was lying. As a senior in Tiannan Colony, it was reasonable for Wu Yang to know this kind of information. And there was no need for him to lie. Humanity is about to face another catastrophe. Chao Ren let out a long sigh. He even pictured Jin Jiashi leading the army of zombies to destroy one settlement after another, slaughtering countless human beings. I agree to go to King Kong City. After listening to Wu Yang's explanation, Su Chen expressed his opinion. Tan Lin and the others also had no objection. Well, since everyone has no objection, let's go to King Kong City. At Wu Yang's command, Li Liang drove the MCV straight to King Kong City. Along the way, the MCV was attacked by several waves of zombies. However, the number of zombies was not large. At most, there were only a dozen zombies, and they were all killed by Su Chen. On the premise of obtaining dozens of energy stones, 3 black fragments were dropped. One was a fragment of the ungraded Gatling gun, and the other 2 were fragments of the intelligent chariot. In this way, only 1 fragment of the ungraded Gatling gun would be needed. There were also 3 fragments of the intelligent chariot, but its usage standard was higher. It needed 10 fragments to be used. The MCV drove on the vast plain for more than 3 hours, and it was already late at night. Wu Yang proposed to rest and continue the journey the next day, and everyone agreed. Just as the engine of the MCV turned off, a black figure suddenly flashed in front of the car. Are they zombies? Su Chen caught sight of this figure, and his eyelids suddenly twitched. Ordinary zombies definitely didn't have this kind of speed. Could it be a high-level zombie? Su Chen had doubts in his heart and released his spiritual force to observe outside. Unexpectedly, when his mental power extended more than 5 meters away from the car, his face suddenly changed. Surrounding the carriage was a group of ferocious-looking giant wolves with black fur. Each of them was about 2 meters long, and their eyes were glowing with a green light. There are zombie wolves outside, Su Chen exclaimed. Zombie wolves were also a type of zombie. They were mutated wolves that had been infected with zombie poison. Compared to ordinary zombies, the zombie wolves were many times stronger. They were almost as strong as a level 1 evolver. Their most obvious characteristics were that they were extremely fast, powerful, and had sharp claws and teeth that could even pierce through thick iron. Not good, hurry up and drive. Wu Yang's face changed and he shouted at Li Liang. He also saw the existence of zombie wolves, and roughly estimated that there were at least 20 of them. Facing more than 20 zombie wolves that were comparable to level 1 evolvers, the MCV's defense could not withstand at all. Chapter 23. Li Liang was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He hurriedly started the car and stepped on the accelerator. The MCV sped forward as fast as lightning. Bang! Bang! The two zombie wolves in front of the MCV were knocked away. However, the front of the MCV was also dented. It could be seen that the body of the zombie wolves was much stronger than that of ordinary zombies. Roar! The rest of the zombie wolves saw that the MCV was about to escape. They roared and madly chased after the MCV. Hurry up, get out of here! Wu Yang anxiously shouted at Li Liang. The speed of the zombie wolves was not much slower than the MCV. If they couldn't get out of the encirclement before the zombie wolves reacted, they would all be finished. Captain, this is the fastest we can go. Li Liang gritted his teeth. Because of nervousness, his hands holding the steering wheel were trembling. They are catching up. Chao Ren looked at the large group of zombie wolves behind the MCV. His face was as pale as a sheet of white paper. Tan Lin's beautiful face was also pale, but she didn't yell. Instead, she looked at Su Chen. In her heart, no matter what difficulties or crises they encountered, as long as Su Chen was by her side, she would get a little bit of comfort. Compared to the others who were extremely nervous, Su Chen was a lot calmer. He extended his spirit power to a distance of 10 meters, and found that there were at least 50 zombie wolves chasing after them. This kind of number was not something that could be stopped by pure force. It seems that I can only rely on this. Su Chen gradually narrowed his eyes. As he withdrew his spirit power, he opened the storage bag and took out the level 1 pulse pistol. The level 1 pulse pistol was used in the same way as the pistols in his previous life. The only difference was that the ammunition was not bullets but energy stones. Moreover, its magazine was like a storage bag. There was space inside and it could be infinitely filled with energy stones. Each energy stone was equal to 1 bullet. In other words, as long as there were enough energy stones, the pulse pistol could be fired infinitely. Its power was enough to kill level 1 zombies, and it was more than enough to deal with the zombie wolves. Then Su Chen opened the magazine of the pulse pistol and began to fill it with energy stones. Just in case, he filled it with 70 energy stones at once, which was enough to kill 70 zombie wolves. Su Chen, what are you holding in your hand? Chao Ran frowned and asked when he saw Su Chen holding something strange in his hand and filling it with energy stones. In this world, although there were advanced vehicles such as the MCV, there were no firearms and other firearms. Therefore, Chao Ran did not know what Su Chen was holding. Weapon, Su Chen replied faintly. His eyes fell on the pulse pistol, but he did not explain much. Bang! But at this time, the MCV suffered a violent impact, and the front of the MCV suddenly emitted black smoke. Su Chen and the other 3 people in the MCV were almost thrown to the ground by the huge impact. Li Liang, how did you drive? Wu Yang stabilized his body and roared at Li Liang. Captain, I didn't mean it, Li Liang cried. Because he was too nervous, he drove the MCV in a panic and did not notice the big rock in front of him, which led to the MCV hitting it. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and drive. Wu Yang urged. After such a delay, the zombie wolves had caught up and surrounded the MCV. No, the MCV can't be ignited. Li Liang tried again and again to ignite the MCV, but he did not succeed. At this time, the zombie wolves had already launched an attack on the MCV. Bang bang. The MCV of the MCV swayed left and right, and holes appeared on the MCV. It would not last long before it was pierced. Chapter 24. It's over. We're dead. Chao Ran was still in shock, and his eyes were filled with disappointment. It seemed that the MCV was about to be destroyed, and they were all going to die in the mouth of the zombie wolf. Suchen. Tanlin walked to Suchen's side and looked at him. She knew that this time they were going to die, but as long as she could die with the person she loved, she would be very happy. Don't worry, I'm here. No one will die. Suchen comforted her with a smile, and then turned to look at Wu Yang. Wu Yang sighed, stroking the thick broadsword, and said firmly, "Get ready to fight." Suchen nodded slightly. Captain Wu opened the door. "I'll deal with the zombie wolf." He couldn't wait until the MCV was destroyed, and then Tanlin wouldn't have a place to hide. Even if he had the pulse pistol, he couldn't take care of Tanlin's safety. Once the door was opened, the zombie wolf would definitely attack from the door, and the MCV would be saved. "Don't open the door." Li Liang was inexplicably frightened and shouted, "Suchen, what do you want to do? Do you want to kill us?" "Shut up. If you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll throw you out." Suchen coldly stared at Li Liang. Under Suchen's gaze, Li Liang felt a bone-chilling cold. He trembled all over, and didn't even dare to fart. "Suchen, do you really want to open the door?" Wu Yang asked tentatively. "Trust me." Suchen nodded heavily. Wu Yang gritted his teeth, and without hesitation, he opened the door. Roar. The moment the door was opened, a zombie wolf excitedly rushed toward the door. Wu Yang clenched the thick broadsword, and when he was about to slash, suddenly there was a gunshot in the MCV. Suchen held the pulse pistol with one hand and gently pulled the trigger. As the gunshot rang out, a tongue of flame shot out. As soon as the zombie wolf stuck its head into the car, its head exploded, and it turned into a headless corpse that fell outside the car. F***CK. Wu Yang was horrified. He had never seen such a terrifying weapon before. With just a loud explosion, a zombie wolf with the strength of a level 1 evolver was killed. Captain Wu stepped aside. After killing a zombie wolf with one shot, Suchen felt reassured and walked straight to the car door. Wu Yang retreated to the side without hesitation. Since Suchen had such a powerful weapon, killing the zombies would be a piece of cake. There was no need for him to do anything. When the zombie wolf outside the car saw that its companion had died, it became even angrier and charged towards the car door without any regard for its own life. This time, two of them rushed over at once. Suchen fired 2 shots at the same time. One shot hit the neck of the zombie wolf, separating its head from its body. The other shot opened a bowl-sized bloody hole in the chest of the second zombie wolf, killing it on the spot. In a flash, 3 zombie wolves were killed. However, the zombie wolves were not afraid at all. The more of their companions died, the angrier they became. Woo-woo. All the zombie wolves bared their teeth and charged towards the car door one after another. Bang bang. A series of gunshots reverberated in the darkness of the night. Every shot would reap the life of a zombie wolf. Suchen did not know how many shots he had fired, but the bodies of the zombie wolves were piled up like a small hill outside the car door. At the same time, there were 7 or 8 beams of different colors emitting dazzling light. Too strong. Wu Yang swallowed a mouthful of saliva, shocked to the extreme. Suchen was already strong enough as a telekinesis user and an evolver. He did not expect that he would have such a terrifying weapon. His overall strength was even higher than that of a level 2 evolver. Awesome. Suchen is too awesome. Chao Ran was so excited that he danced with joy. He admired Suchen from the bottom of his heart. He thought that he was going to die, but after Suchen took out a strange weapon, the situation took a turn and the zombie wolves became the targets of the hunt. Chapter 25. Tanlin gently bit her thin lips, her eyes never leaving Suchen, and her heart was also very excited. Li Liang, who was hiding in the corner, had a gloomy face. Although the crisis was over, he couldn't be happy. The reason was simple. Suchen was too good, so good that people looked up to him, which made his jealousy deepen. At this time, Li Liang kept shouting in his heart. Why is Suchen so strong? Why is he accompanied by beautiful women? Why am I useless? It's not fair. On the other side, Suchen released his spiritual power and swept outside, and found that there were 7 zombie wolves outside. Because the door was blocked, the 7 zombie wolves couldn't attack from the door, so they went to other places and tore at the MCV. Of course, Suchin wouldn't let the zombie wolves destroy the MCV wantonly. He kicked the zombie wolf outside the door and quickly rushed out. Seeing this, Wu Yang followed with his big knife. Suchin fired 5 shots, killing 5 zombie wolves, and put away the pulse pistol. Pulse pistol consumed energy stones, and he didn't want to waste it anymore. There were only 2 zombie wolves left, and he and Wu Yang could take one each. It was too easy. When all the zombie wolves were killed, Chao Ren also rushed out of the MCV and shouted, "I'll help dig out the energy stones." He had done this kind of thing once before, so he was familiar with it. More importantly, he would be able to get a share of the energy stones, so why not? Tan Lin breathed a sigh of relief, and also got out of the MCV to help. Li Liang hesitated for a moment, and finally got out of the MCV. Suchin glanced around, and after finding no danger, he began to pick up the fragments. Picked up Doomsday Mall *1, 310. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Picked up Bread Tree Seed *1, 11. Fragments are full, can be used. Picked up Enchanted Sword *1, 13. Fragments are not full, can be used. Picked up Supersonic War Boots X1, 11. Full of fragments, can be used. Picked up Intelligent War Chariot *1, 710. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. Suchin heard 8 strange noises in succession in his mind, and he obtained 8 things. However, he could only use Breadfruit Tree Seed and Rapid Combat Boots. The shape of the Bread Tree Seed was almost the same as the Hard Fruit Seed. After being planted, it would grow into a 2-meter-tall plant in a very short time. Moreover, it would produce 10 breadfruit the size of watermelons. What was even more amazing was that its growth cycle was only 24 hours. In other words, after plucking the fruit, it would bear fruit again within a day. In order to survive in this apocalyptic world, other than avoiding zombies, food was also very important. With this breadfruit tree seed in his hand, Suchin would never have to worry about food in the future. Rapid War Boots was a pair of purple shoes that could increase one's speed. It could increase one's speed by 2 times, and it was a life-saving item. As for the remaining 6 fragments, none of them were complete yet. Among them, one was Doomsday Mall, and he also obtained a weapon fragment, Enchanted Sword. The remaining 4 fragments were Intelligent War Chariot fragments. Adding the 3 fragments he obtained before, he now had 7 fragments. After picking up the fragments, Suchin also began to dig for energy stones. 10 minutes later, all the energy stones were dug out. There were a total of 57 stones. Since almost all the zombie wolves were killed by Suchin, he took 40 stones, Wu Yang took 8, and Tan Lin and the other 2 took 3 each. Back in the MCV, Suchin filled all the 40 energy stones he obtained with the level 1 pulse pistol. Suchin, where did you get that thing in your hand? Wu Yang asked. He had seen the power of the pulse pistol with his own eyes. If he could get one, not only would he be able to survive in this apocalyptic world, but he would also be able to kill everyone. Chapter 26. I picked it up. The corner of Suchin's mouth twitched, revealing a meaningful smile. This time he didn't lie. The pulse pistol was indeed obtained by picking up fragments. As for whether Wu Yang believed it or not, that was none of his business. Wu Yang's face was full of astonishment, his heart was in turmoil. Picked it up? Was this for real? Can you tell me where you picked it up? I also want to pick it up. I also want to be strong. I also want to kill everyone. On the other side, Chao Ran and Li Liang were rushing to repair the MCV. In his previous life, the structure of the car was very complicated. The power came from gasoline, diesel, electricity, and so on. The MCV was very different. The power relied on energy stones, and the structure was relatively simple, so it was much easier to repair. Suchin, I'll give you all my energy stones. Tan Lin gave her energy stones to Suchin. Although the energy stones were very precious, she felt that they were useless in her hands, so it was better to give them to Suchin. Okay. Suchin nodded and didn't refuse. Although they weren't married, they had long regarded each other as their other half, so it didn't matter who had the energy stones. Moreover, if he refused, Tanlin might have other thoughts. Sure enough, seeing that Suchin didn't refuse, Tanlin's face showed a bright smile. Li Liang, how long will it take to repair it? Wu Yang asked anxiously. When they were killing the zombie wolves, they made too much noise, and if more zombies were attracted, and the MCV couldn't be driven, they would be in danger. About 5 minutes. Li Liang replied. That's good, but you have to hurry. Wu Yang was slightly relieved. When Suchin was filling the pulse pistol with energy stones, he vaguely heard some light footsteps. And as time went by, the footsteps became clearer and more frequent. There are zombies coming. Suchin frowned and turned to look outside the MCV. Outside the carriage, under the black sky, starlight sprinkled down sparsely. With the help of the weak light, Suchin quickly saw many ferocious and terrifying faces. They were all zombies. Moreover, their numbers had reached an astonishing level. There were over 1,000 of them that could be seen. Zombie horde. Wu Yang also discovered the existence of zombies, and his face completely changed. The so-called zombie tide was formed when the number of zombies reached a certain level. The minimum standard was 10,000. Moreover, 10,000 zombies could only be considered a small zombie tide. Some zombie hordes even numbered in the hundreds of thousands, or even millions. Millions of zombies were known as the super zombie wave. Wherever they passed, not even a blade of grass would survive. Even a large gathering place like King Kong City would be razed to the ground in an instant if it encountered a super zombie tide. What should we do? Wu Yang's mouth trembled. Even if he had gone through countless hardships and seen many big scenes, when faced with a zombie tide, he still panicked and lost his mind. Chao Ran and Li Liang didn't have time to repair the MCV. Hearing the dense footsteps and howls outside, their faces became extremely ugly. It's over. We're dead for sure. Li Liang collapsed on the ground and began to cry. Shut up. Suchin stepped forward and kicked him, and he fainted. Zombie's hearing was very sensitive, and Li Liang's crying was likely to attract the zombie's attention. Chapter 27. Suchin, it's useless. Even if we don't make any noise, when the zombies rush over, they will crush the MCV. We won't be able to escape death, Wu Yang whispered. Suchin naturally understood this, and his thoughts were running fast at this moment. The zombies are coming. Seeing that the zombies were less than 10 meters away from the MCV, Chao Ran trembled and reminded him. In the face of such a large group of zombies, it was too late to abandon the MCV and escape. The reason why the zombie tide was so scary was that, in addition to the number of zombies, there were also high-level zombies. The strength of high-level zombies was not below that of evolvers, and their speed was even faster. Suchin had the rapid boots, so it was not a problem for him to escape, but for the others, it was impossible for them to outrun high-level zombies. I'll go out and lure the zombies away. You guys hide in the MCV and don't make any noise. Suchin put on the rapid boots and said in a low voice. Although it was dangerous, he had full confidence in it. First of all, the rapid boots could greatly increase his speed, and the zombies could not catch up with him. Secondly, the pulse pistol could continuously kill zombies, and he was both a telekinesis user and an evolver. No matter how many zombies there were, they could not stop him. No. Tanlin's face changed dramatically, and she immediately refused. There were so many zombies outside. How could she let Suchin take the risk? Don't worry, the zombies can't do anything to me. Suchin smiled and comforted her, and then said, after I lure the zombies away, you guys fix the MCV and go to King Kong City immediately. After getting rid of the zombies, I will go to King Kong City to find you guys. After that, Suchin rushed out of the MCV without waiting for the others to speak. At that time, the zombies were less than 5 meters away from the MCV, and Suchin's sudden appearance naturally attracted their attention. In the eyes of zombies, humans were not only prey, but also food. Roar. Seeing that there was food in front of them, all the zombies roared excitedly. The roars were continuous, and it was earth-shattering, echoing in the vast plain. Wu Yang and the others on the MCV were trembling with fear, and they did not even dare to breathe. Call your sister. Su Chun, however, was not afraid. He raised his hand and shot out a fireball. Amidst the violent explosion, the nearest zombie was blown into two. Su Chen's action completely enraged the zombies. They madly rushed towards Su Chen. One of the zombies had a particularly strong body and was much faster than the other zombies. In just a few steps, it was already in front of Su Chen. Is a level 1 zombie that awesome? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and raised his hand to fire a shot. The level 1 zombie was shot in the head. It took 2 steps forward and fell at Su Chen's feet. Then a red beam of light shone from the corpse. Fragment. Su Chen's expression changed and he grabbed it. Picked up healing potion shard X1, 1-1. Shards full, ready to use. Use. In Su Chen's hand, there was a glass bottle filled with some green liquid. In his mind, there was also some information about the healing potion. Simply put, the healing potion was used to treat injuries. After putting the healing potion into the storage bag, Su Chen shot another round of fireballs and wind blades. After killing several zombies, he ran back. In order to lead all the zombies away, Su Chen did not burst out at full speed. Every time he opened up a distance, he would stop and kill a group of zombies. In this way, all the zombies were attracted by Su Chen. There was also a very strange scene on the plain. The zombies were like a wave, chasing after Su Chen with all their might, but they couldn't catch up to him. Every time a zombie got close to Su Chen, it would be mercilessly shot to death. Chapter 28. After a long time, when the MCV fell into silence again, Tanlin looked at Wu Yang and asked worriedly, "Captain Wu, will Su Chen be okay?" Facing thousands of zombies alone, he would need the speed of a level 3 evolver to escape. Wu Yang thought that Su Chen was dead for sure, but he was surprised to find that Su Chen's speed was too fast, almost as fast as a level 3 evolver. Not to mention ordinary zombies, even level 1 or level 2 zombies would not be able to catch up with him. In addition, Su Chen was strong and had a powerful weapon, so it was absolutely possible for him to escape. Don't worry, with Su Chen's strength and speed, the zombies will not be able to catch up with him, Wu Yang said seriously. Tanlin felt relieved when she heard Wu Yang's firm tone. Chao Ran, go and fix the car. We have to leave here as soon as possible, Wu Yang ordered. Li Liang had been kicked unconscious by Su Chen, and there were no signs of him waking up. The task of fixing the car fell on Chao Ran. Captain Wu, are we not going to wait for Su Chen? Tanlin frowned. Chao Ran was also stunned. In their opinion, Su Chen was willing to take the risk to save them. Now that the zombies had left, it would be too unkind of them to ignore them. Su Chen asked us to go to King Kong City and wait for him. We will do as he says, Wu Yang explained. Now he admired Su Chen very much and trusted him very much. When Su Chen said that he would kill 80 zombies, he thought that Su Chen was crazy, but Su Chen did it easily. Later, when Su Chen killed the zombie wolves, he also thought that Su Chen could not do it, but Su Chen took out a weapon and killed the zombie wolves as easily as killing ants. Before Su Chen left, he said that he would lead the zombies away, and he did it. Through these 3 things, Wu Yang could be sure that no matter what decision Su Chen made, it was not without reason. He had absolute confidence in it. It could be said that every word that Su Chen said was still fresh in his mind. Since Su Chen had ordered them to go to King Kong City, there was nothing to hesitate about. They just had to do it. When the sky was bright, Su Chen had led the zombie army for hundreds of miles, and arrived at the edge of a mountain range. During this time, he kept releasing all kinds of spells, including fireballs, wind blades, thunder, and ice cones. With the help of the pulse pistol, he killed at least hundreds of zombies. He also took the opportunity to obtain 10 fragments. 2 fragments of intelligent chariot, 3 fragments of apple tree seeds, 2 fragments of hard fruit seeds, 2 fragments of antiviral potion, and 1 fragment of enchanted saber. Of course, there were more than 10 fragments, but because there were too many zombies, he could not pick them up. After a few hours of tossing and turning, Su Chen was also exhausted. Moreover, the energy stones in the pulse pistol were used up. and his magic power was almost depleted. He did not want to continue fighting with the zombies. With the extreme speed of the rapid war boots, Suchin quickly got rid of the zombies and entered the vast mountain range. Seeing Suchin disappear from their sight, the zombies were furious, but they could only roar a few times to vent their anger. On the other side, Suchin climbed to the top of a small mountain and looked at the zombie army behind him. After losing sight of Suchin, the tens of thousands of zombies slowly dispersed. Seeing this, Suchin's heart was filled with pride. He fought against tens of thousands of zombies alone, and he was unharmed. He even killed hundreds of zombies. Such a feat was unprecedented, and there might not be anyone who could do it in the future. Chapter 29. After a while, Suchin came to the foot of the mountain, found a place to sit down, and muttered to himself, Tan Lin and the others should have left, right? Attracting the zombie tide away helped Tan Lin and the others get out of the crisis, and also bought a lot of time. He believed that with Wu Yang's decisiveness, this time should be on the way to King Kong City. Thinking of this, Suchin was relieved. Then he hurriedly ate something, and when he was about to take a nap, he saw a 14 or 15 years old, handsome young man walking towards him. Big brother, this place is very dangerous, you can't sleep here. The young man saw Suchin's sleepy look and reminded him. Dangerous? Suchin was surprised and looked at the young man with interest and chuckled. Since it's dangerous, why did you dare to come here alone? Before, he had already observed the surroundings and did not find the existence of danger, so he did not know why the young man said so. The young man explained, there are often zombies wandering around here. If you fall asleep, you will be in danger. I often hang around here. As long as there are zombies, I will be prepared in advance. Suchin suddenly realized and asked, where is this place? Is there a safe place nearby? After a night of tossing and turning, he just wanted to find a place to have a good sleep. This is the Huangza mountain range. The young man replied, and then scratched his head. Why don't you come back with me? But my house is not big, you will have to leave after resting for a while. The Huangza mountain range. Suchin muttered. The Huangza mountain range was vast, and there were many mutated beasts in the depths, and some humans lived in the periphery, forming a small gathering place. He had heard of this before. Thank you very much. Suchin thanked, and squeezed out a smile on his tired face. My name is Suchin, what's your name? Now that he was physically and mentally exhausted, and there was no suitable place to rest, he planned to go back with the young man. Hello Chingu. My name is Yang Hao. Yang Hao replied with a smile. Suchin was slightly lost in thought. Ever since he had transmigrated to this world, he had never seen such a pure smile. At this moment, he felt as if he had returned to his previous life, and a warm feeling welled up in his heart. Chingu, what's wrong with you? Seeing Suchin in a daze, Yang Hao asked curiously. It's nothing. Suchin came back to his senses and coughed lightly. Let's go. Then, under Yang Hao's lead, the two of them chatted as they walked. After half an hour, they entered a valley surrounded by mountains. Suchin narrowed his eyes and scanned the surroundings. He nodded slightly. The environment is not bad. It feels like a paradise. The area in the valley was not very large, only a few hundred square meters. There were many crops planted in the open space. At the foot of the mountain, there were more than 30 stone caves. The entrances of the caves were blocked by wooden fences. At first, Suchin did not know what these stone caves were for. After listening to Yang Hao's explanation, he understood. It turned out that these stone caves were human residences. Each stone cave represented a family. Chingu, this is my home. I'll take you in to have a look. Yang Hao pointed at a stone cave. Following Yang Hao into the stone cave, Suchin looked around and secretly shook his head. This stone cave was at most 10 square meters. There were only 2 rough wooden beds and a few pots and pans. Other than that, there was nothing else. It was more appropriate to describe it as a bare house. Compared to Suchin's shabby bungalow in Tiannan, it was much more shabby. Big brother Chun, my sister went out. You should take the time to rest. Otherwise, when she comes back, she might not agree to let you stay here. Yang Hao said. Su Chen nodded. He laid on a wooden bed and closed his eyes. Although he was sleepy, he did not dare to fall asleep. After all, people in the post-apocalyptic world were sinister. Even if he felt that Yang Hao was not bad, he did not dare to be careless. After 2 hours of being half asleep, a tall, beautiful woman with long black hair walked into the stone cave. She looked less than 20 years old, around 18 or 19. Chapter 30. Sister, you are back. Yang Hao greeted her. The woman nodded her head and suddenly noticed an unfamiliar man lying on the bed. She frowned and pointed at Su Chen and asked, "Who is he?" Yang Hao explained, "His name is Su Chen. He is a friend I met on the road. He seemed to be too tired, so I brought him home to let him rest for a while." Su Chen, who heard the noise, also sat up at this time. He rubbed his sleepy eyes, and when he saw the woman's appearance, he was startled and involuntarily said, "Dilly Reba? You also transmigrated?" The woman in front of him, whether it was her figure or appearance, was very similar to the female celebrity Dilly Reba from his previous life. He suspected that Dilly Reba had also transmigrated. The woman looked at Su Chen, and a trace of anger appeared on her beautiful face. "What nonsense are you talking about? My name is Yang Qian, not Dilly Reba." Su Chen was handsome and gave her a good first impression. However, the way Su Chen looked at her revealed a different meaning, which made her very uncomfortable. "Oh, I'm sorry. I mistook you for someone else." Su Chen rubbed his nose and laughed awkwardly. Yang Qian was Yang Hao's sister. She had lived in the Huangzi mountain range since she was young. Yang Hao had already told her this on the way back. Therefore, Yang Qian only looked like Dilly Reba, and was definitely not the real Dilly Reba. "Since you are awake, then quickly leave." Yang Qian ordered him to leave. In the post-apocalyptic world, people's hearts were unpredictable. She did not know Su Chen's background. What if Su Chen was a bad person? Then wouldn't the two of them be in trouble? Yang Hao was somewhat unhappy and said in a muffled voice, "Sister, Chengge just woke up and you are chasing him away without eating. Isn't this too unreasonable?" Although he hadn't known Su Chen for a long time, he felt that Su Chen wasn't a bad person. He couldn't understand why Yang Qian was in such a hurry to chase him away. "I happen to have something to do and need to leave." Su Chen found an excuse and smiled embarrassedly. It was normal to be vigilant in this post-apocalyptic world, and he did not feel that Yang Qian's actions were wrong. However, before he left, he still had to leave something behind for the other party. After all, he had rested here for a few hours. He could just treat it as his accommodation fee. There was a large amount of food stored in the storage bag, as well as some energy stones. Just as Su Chen was taking them out, the wooden fence at the entrance of the cave was suddenly kicked open. Then 2 arrogant men walked into the cave. The one walking in front was an ugly man in his 20s. His face was filled with pimples of various sizes, and it was comparable to Chen Dong's ugly face. When the ugly man saw Su Chen sitting on the wooden bed, his expression changed. He pointed at Su Chen's nose and shouted angrily, "Kid, who are you? Why are you here?" "It's none of your business." Seeing the other party's ferocious attitude, Su Chen's face sank, and he snorted coldly. "What are you talking about? Do you not want to live anymore?" A young man with a crew cut stood beside the ugly man. He glared at Su Chen, and was about to rush forward to teach him a lesson. "Lu Wei, he is our friend. What do you want to do?" Yang Qian stood in front of Su Chen. Although she wasn't familiar with Su Chen, she didn't want Su Chen to be bullied. Lu Wei signaled to the youth not to act rashly and sneered, "I don't want to do anything. I'm here to collect protection fees." Yang Qian took out an energy stone and handed it to Lu Wei. "Here, leave my house immediately." Lu Wei pretended to take the energy stone, but he grabbed Yang Qian's hand. Chapter 31. What are you doing? Yang Qian's face turned pale as she retracted her hand and took a few steps back. Lu Wei narrowed his eyes, put his hand on the tip of his nose and sniffed it. With an intoxicated expression he exclaimed, "How fragrant!" "Shameless." Yang Qian bit her thin lips as a blush appeared on her face. She looked extremely ashamed and resentful. Lu Wei, we have already paid the protection fee. Why are you still here? Yang Hao clenched his fists as his face turned red. Obviously, he was furious with Lu Wei's behavior. Lu Wei smiled. The protection fee has increased. It used to be 1 stone per month, but now it's 2. What? 2 stones? Yang Qian and Yang Hao's face changed. Zombies were too dangerous for ordinary people like them. Killing 2 or 3 zombies per month was already good enough. After exchanging for food and clothing, paying an energy stone as protection fee was already the limit. Lu Wei was asking for an exorbitant price. Obviously, he was trying to make things difficult for them. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed. Living in Tiannan Colony, they also had to pay protection fees, but the fees were not as high as this. Handing over 2 energy stones a month was completely unreasonable. Lu Wei, don't go too far. The Huangzi mountain range is not your home. Why do you have to pay so much for us? Yang Hao shouted angrily. Lu Wei's face was cold as he sneered. My family has the final say in the Huangzi mountain range. If you don't pay the protection fee, don't even think about living here. Yang Qian gritted her teeth. We don't have any more energy stones. We owe you this time, and we'll pay you back next month. Although she was unwilling, facing a bully like Lu Wei, she had no choice but to compromise. Lu Wei licked his lips as his eyes were filled with a layer of hot light. He said softly, Yang Qian, why do you have to do this? As long as you agree to be my woman, not only will you not have to pay protection fees, you can also live a good life. Before Lu Wei could finish, he was interrupted by Yang Qian. Shut up. I'd rather die than be your woman. Lu Wei was a notorious lecher in the desolate Lake Mountain Range. The number of women who had been harmed by him was unknown. How could Yang Qian be his woman? Brother Wei, this little girl doesn't know what's good for her. Why don't we just do it the hard way? The youth with the crew cut suggested. Lu Wei didn't say anything, but his eyes were rolling around. If you dare to do this, my father will not let you go. Don't forget that he is a level 1 evolver. Yang Hao noticed that Lu Wei was planning something, so he quickly said. Hearing this, Lu Wei's expression changed. The father of the Yang siblings, Yang Lingtian, was indeed a level 1 evolver, but he had disappeared from the Wolf Valley half a year ago. Lu Wei had long coveted Yang Lingtian, but he didn't make a move because he was afraid of Yang Lingtian. He wasn't sure if Yang Lingtian had died in the Wolf Valley or not. But then he remembered that his father was also a level 1 evolver, and had many subordinates. Even if Yang Lingtian was still alive, there was nothing to be afraid of. Don't use Yang Lingtian to scare me. If you don't pay the protection fees today, your sister can only be my woman. Lu Wei threatened. A toad wants to eat a swan's meat? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? Su Chen chuckled, got up and walked forward. Yang Qian was stunned for a moment, but when she came back to her senses, she gave Su Chen a look. Su Chen, this is none of your business. She was touched that Su Chen was willing to stand up for her, but she was more worried. With Lu Wei's ruthless way of doing things, Su Chen might lose his life. What did you say I am? Lu Wei's mouth trembled, and his eyes were filled with bloodlust. In the Huangzi mountain range, he was the local tyrant, who dared to criticize his appearance. This strange man in front of him dared to insult him in front of his face. Are you deaf? I said you are a toad. Su Chen didn't mince his words. Then he explained with a smile. With your appearance, calling you a toad is already very respectful of you. Chapter 32. Lu Wei's chest heaved up and down as his face contorted. He gritted his teeth and roared. Kill him. Kill him for me. The youth with the crew cut had a cruel look on his face as he rushed towards Su Chen and threw a punch at him. Ah! Yang Qian screamed in fright. As if she couldn't bear to see Su Chen being beaten down. She closed her eyes. Su Chen's eyes flashed coldly as he kicked out. Accompanied by a miserable howl, the man with the crew cut was sent flying out of the stone cave. Blood splattered in the air. As a level 1 evolver, Su Chen was superior to his opponent in terms of speed and strength. The youth with the crew cut did not know Su Chen's strength and took the initiative to attack him. He was just asking to be humiliated. Chungu is so strong. Yang Hao's eyes were wide open as he looked at Lu Wei in disbelief. The youth with the crew cut was Lu Wei's #1 fighter. How could he be sent flying with a kick? Even though he saw it with his own eyes, Yang Hao wondered if his eyes were playing tricks on him. What's going on? Hearing Yang Hao's murmur, Yang Qian opened her eyes. When she saw the youth with the crew cut lying on the ground like a dead dog while Su Chen was unharmed, she was stunned. Hit! How dare you hit my men? Lu Wei trembled as he looked at the youth with the crew cut who was lying on the ground. He was so angry that his mouth was trembling. Not only did Su Chen humiliate him, but he also taught his men a lesson. This was intolerable. At this moment, he swore to himself that he must kill Su Chen today to vent his anger. Su Chen smiled as he walked towards Lu Wei and slapped him without warning. Slap. The crisp sound of the slap resounded in the cave. Lu Wei spun around on the spot after being hit. Half of his face was swollen. His originally ugly face now looked like a pig's head. Witnessing this scene, Yang Qian and Yang Hao opened their mouths wide. Their minds were in a mess. Not only did Su Chen teach the crew cut youth a lesson, he even beat up Lu Wei. This time he was in big trouble. You hit me? I am Lu Wei. My father is Lu Shirong. How dare you hit me? Lu Wei covered his face as if he had been beaten silly. His words were incoherent. Scram. If you dare to blabber again, I'll kill you. Su Chen glared at him with murderous intent. Intimidated by Su Chen's imposing manner, Lu Wei trembled in fear and obediently shut his mouth. Then he slipped away without looking back. Just you wait, I won't let you get away with this. Lu Wei left behind a threat as he ran far away. Su Chen couldn't be bothered and sat back down on the wooden bed. After this incident, he did not plan to leave. Yang Qian looked at the calm Su Chen and sighed. You hit Lu Wei. His father will definitely come for revenge. You better run for your life. Lu Shirong was a level 1 evolver and the strongest person in the Huangzi mountain range. Even her father was no match for him. Although Su Chen was strong, in her opinion, he was not an evolver. He was definitely not a match for Lu Shirong. Staying here would only lead to his death. Chungu, my sister is right. You better run. Yang Hao agreed. What will you do if I leave? Su Chen rubbed his nose. Of course he would not leave. The reason he let Lu Wei go was to lure the people behind him. If he did not remove the roots, they would grow again. Only by eliminating them all could he be at ease. They don't dare to touch us. You, on the other hand, will die if you don't leave now. Yang Qian was anxious. Su Chen had offended Lu Wei because of them. She could not watch Su Chen die. Is Lu Shirong a level 1 evolver? Su Chen was still unmoved. Chapter 33. He is a level 1 evolver. If you don't leave now, it will be too late. Yang Qian did not know why Su Chen was so fearless. She was angry and anxious at the same time. Su Chen nodded and took out the pulse pistol from his storage pouch and started to fill it with energy stones. He had killed level 1 evolvers before, and he had killed even more level 1 zombies. Therefore, he did not take Lu Shirong seriously. However, he was still a little tired, so he was too lazy to fight. Using the pulse pistol would save him a lot of trouble. Chungu, what is that in your hand? Yang Hao asked curiously when he saw Su Chen had a new toy in his hand. It is a very powerful weapon. It is enough to kill a level 1 evolver. Su Chen smiled. Is it that powerful? Yang Hao's eyes lit up. Yang Qian's expression changed as she looked at the pulse pistol. Seeing that the pistol was neither fish nor fowl, she snorted and said, Don't brag. You might not have seen the power of a level 1 evolver. You will regret it later. Su Chen rubbed his nose and did not explain further. Who the hell dared to hit my son? Come out and die. At this time, a man's angry roar came from outside the cave. Lu Shirong is here. Yang Qian's face was pale. Li Shirong had come personally, so Su Chen could not escape even if he wanted to. Once he fell into Lu Shirong's hands, the consequences would be unimaginable. You guys stay here and don't go out, Su Chen said and walked out of the cave. Stepping out of the cave, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked around. He saw more than a dozen fierce-looking men with weapons in their hands. Lu Wei was also among them. Because Lu Wei and his men came aggressively, they made a lot of noise and attracted a lot of attention. Many people from the other caves poked their heads out to look in this direction. Some of them even gathered in groups of 3 or 5 and whispered to each other. What's going on? Why is Lu Shirong here? I heard that an outsider hit Lu Wei. Li Shirong must be here for revenge. Is that guy stupid? He even dared to hit Lu Wei. He's dead for sure. Brat, let's see how arrogant you are this time. Lu Wei glared at Su Chun and threatened. He then turned to a bald man beside him and said, Father, this is the brat who hit me. The bald man looked to be in his 50s and was about 1.9 meters tall. His entire body was covered with bulging muscles, and his face was unusually ferocious. He glanced at Su Chun and coldly shouted, Boy Neil. You are Lu Shirong, right? Su Chun first gave an irrelevant answer, then his eyes turned cold. Neil my ass. Who do you think you are? As soon as these words were spoken, it was like a clap of thunder that instantly caused a commotion in the surroundings. This guy is so arrogant. You even dare to scold Lu Shirong? An outsider who hasn't seen the world. But his end will definitely be miserable. The spectators all agreed that Su Chun would definitely die, and with Lu Shirong's brutality, even if he died, he would be tortured. Father, quickly kill him. Lu Wei roared with a ferocious face. In front of his own father, Su Chun dared to be so arrogant, and he really couldn't stand it anymore. More than a dozen of his men were also rubbing their hands, and their eyes were cold. They were just waiting for Lu Shirong's order, and then they would pounce on Su Chun and tear him to pieces. Wait a moment. Lu Shirong motioned his men not to rush into action, and his eyes fell back on Su Chun. Su Chun's face was full of confidence from the beginning to the end, which made Lu Wei mutter, Is this guy hiding his strength? From the information brought back by Lu Wei, he judged that Su Chun's strength was not weak, but he had not reached the level of an evolver. However, seeing that Su Chun was so young, and yet so calm in the face of chaos, this made him suspicious. To be able to dominate the Huangzi Mountains for so many years, not only was he strong, but he also had the ability to observe people's expressions. His intuition told him that the young man in front of him was not simple. Chapter 34. Kid, where did you come from? To be safe, Lu Shirong decided to figure out Su Chun's background first. You don't need to know. Su Chun's mouth curled up into a strange curve. The moment the pulse pistol was aimed at Lu Shirong, he pulled the trigger. A gunshot reverberated through the valley. Not good. Lu Shirong instinctively felt a sense of danger, and put his hand in front of him to block. A streak of fire instantly pierced through his palm, and then hit his chest, creating a huge bloody hole. Gulp! Lu Shirong felt that all his strength had been sucked out. His throat moved a few times, and he finally fell to the ground. Even though he was dead, his eyes were still wide open, filled with unwillingness and regret. It was obvious that he had died with his eyes wide open. The moment Lu Shirong fell, the entire valley fell into a strange silence. Lu Shirong is dead. Even though the spectators had witnessed Lu Shirong's death with their own eyes, they still couldn't believe it. A level 1 evolver, one of the strongest in the Huangzi mountain range, was killed so easily? Was this not too much? Am I dreaming? Some people pinched their thighs, thinking that they were still dreaming. Dad, you can't die. Hurry up and get up. Lu Wei screamed in despair, and threw himself onto Lu Shirong's body. Boss was killed. The rest of the men were all stunned, and they were all terrified. Lu Shirong's death deeply affected them, and their mental defenses collapsed at this moment. Run. After exchanging glances with each other, someone shouted, and the crowd dispersed in a hubbub. Su Chun's strength was beyond everyone's expectation. Killing a level 1 evolver was as easy as chopping vegetables. Ordinary people like them were even less than ants in Su Chun's eyes. If they did not run, how could they save their lives? Do you think you can run? Su Chun sneered. His goal was to catch all of them in one fell swoop, so how could he let them escape? With the speed buff of the rapid combat boots, Su Chen chased after him like a whirlwind. Accompanied by a dozen screams, a dozen bodies fell to the ground. Oh my God! He is also an evolver. Too strong. Too invincible. That was too cruel. The spectators witnessed the scene of Su Chen killing more than a dozen people like a crane. Their hearts were in turmoil, unable to calm down for a long time. On the other side, Lu Wei wanted to run as well, but due to excessive fear, his legs were cramping, and he could not move even half a step. Su Chen slowly walked forward, the sword in his hand exuding a dazzling cold light. Don't come here. Lu Wei was so scared that he trembled and fell to the ground. Go and accompany your old man. Su Chen teased. Well, I beg you don't kill me. Seeing Su Chen approaching him like a god of death, Lu Wei broke down and knelt on the ground, crying and begging for mercy. Su Chen was not moved, and he swung his knife down, and a large head rolled on the ground. When Yang Qian and her brother heard the screams, they ran out of the cave and witnessed the scene of Su Chen killing Lu Wei. He killed Lu Wei. Yang Qian covered her mouth, and her face was full of shock. Sister, Lu Shirong is also dead. Yang Hao pulled Yang Qian's clothes and pointed at Lu Shirong's body, and said in a trembling voice. Chapter 35. Ah! Yang Qian exclaimed. When she saw Lu Shirong's body, she was stunned. At first, she thought that Su Chen was just boasting. She never thought that Su Chen really had the ability to kill a level 1 evolver. For a moment, he was pleasantly surprised and looked at Su Chen with a complicated expression. Well, the trouble has been solved. Come in. I have something to ask you. Su Chen greeted Yang Qian and walked back into the cave. Yang Qian and Yang Hao looked at each other and followed behind Su Chen. Su Chen, how did you kill Lu Shirong? Is it really that strange weapon? Yang Qian asked as soon as they entered the cave. She wanted to check the pulse pistol again, but she found that it was no longer with Su Chen. Su Chen nodded and did not explain. He asked, I heard that your father was trapped in the Wolf Valley. Is there a lot of mutant wolves in the Wolf Valley? There are only 3 mutant wolves in the Wolf Valley, but they are all level 1 mutant beasts. They are very powerful. Yang Hao explained. 3 mutant wolves. Su Chen muttered and his eyes lit up. Under normal circumstances, mutant beasts were stronger than evolvers of the same level. Of course, an evolver and a telekinesis master like him was an exception. The reason why he wanted to find out the whereabouts of the mutant wolves was because he had a bottle of pet potion. If he could capture a mutant wolf, his strength would increase by a lot. Why did your father enter the Wolf Valley? Su Chen was curious. Since he knew there were 3 mutant wolves in the Wolf Valley, why did he take the risk? Yang Qian did not hide anything and said, there is a kind of fruit in the Wolf Valley called the blue fruit. After consuming it, there is a high chance of becoming a telekinesis master. My father entered the Wolf Valley because of the blue fruit. There is such a good thing? Su Chen's eyes lit up. It was extremely difficult to become a spirit reader. Even more difficult than becoming a magic reader. In the Tiannan Gathering base, there were more than a dozen evolvers, but only one was a magic psychic. As for a spirit psychic, there was not a single one. If the blue fruit really had the effect of making people a spirit reader, then its value was immeasurable. Su Chen could increase his strength by picking up the fragments. He might not be able to use the blue fruit, but Tanlin could. Moreover, even if he didn't use it, he could sell it outside and make a fortune. Su Chen, you can't be thinking about the blue underworld fruit, right? Su Chen's sudden inquiry about the Wolf Valley made Yang Qian a little suspicious. Sort of. Su Chen nodded. His original purpose was to rescue the mutated wolf. If Yang Lingtian was still alive, he would also rescue him. After learning about the existence of the blue fruit in the Wolf Valley, he was even more determined to go to the Wolf Valley. There are 3 mutated wolves in the Wolf Valley. My father entered the Wolf Valley half a year ago, and there has been no news from him since. Don't be rash. Yang Qian said worriedly. Although Su Chen had the ability to kill a level 1 evolver, mutated wolves were stronger than evolvers. Furthermore, there were 3 of them. Yang Qian did not think that Su Chen could defeat 3 mutated wolves. I won't go for now, Su Chen replied. Dealing with 3 level 1 mutated wolves would only take 3 shots. Even if he did not use the pulse pistol, his own strength was more than enough. The reason why he did not go was because he wanted to tame all 3 mutated wolves. However, he only had 1 bottle of pet potion. He wanted to collect all 3 bottles of pet potion before leaving. That's good. Yang Qian sighed in relief. Chapter 36. Is there anything to eat? Su Chen asked. From last night until now he only had something to eat in the morning, so he was indeed a bit hungry. Although there was enough food in the storage bag, he still wanted to see the food here as it was his first time in the Huangzi mountain range. Yes, I'll go get it. Yang Hao quickly brought a bowl of black stuff and placed it in front of Su Chen. Su Chen took a bite and secretly shook his head. The thing in the bowl was not only sticky, but also bitter and hard to swallow. Chen Ge, how does it taste? Yang Hao looked at it and unconsciously swallowed his saliva. It's passable. Su Chen said perfunctorily, then asked, why aren't you guys eating? We're not hungry. Yang Hao scratched his head and smiled, but his stomach failed to live up to his expectations and started to growl. In fact, he was already starving, but the only thing he could eat at home was that bowl of paste. Su Chen laughed, put down the bowl in his hand, and took out 3 cans from the storage bag. Try this. Chen Ge, what is this? Where did you take it from? Seeing Su Chen take out 3 tin cans from a palm-sized bag like magic, Yang Hao was surprised. Because he lived in the Huangzi mountain range since he was young, he had never seen canned food. This is canned food, and it's also canned braised meat, Su Chen said and opened the 3 cans one by one. A strong smell of meat soon floated in the cave. Meat. It's all meat. Yang Hao's eyes lit up, and saliva flowed out. Since Yang Lingtian was trapped in the Wolf Valley, they didn't know what to eat next, let alone meat. Eat. Su Chen smiled and gave Yang Hao and his brother 1 each. Thank you, Chen Ge. Yang Hao took the canned food and ate heartily. His mouth was full of oil. Su Chen, this thing is too expensive. I can't eat it. Yang Qian returned the can to Su Chen. Canned meat, for example, might not be available even with energy stones. It could be said that it was exceptionally precious, and she was too embarrassed to ask for it. Su Chen gave it back and smiled faintly. Don't worry, eat it. I have plenty. In order to reassure Yang Qian, he took out 7 or 8 cans of food from his storage bag. So many. Yang Hao's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Yang Qian was also surprised. Firstly, she didn't expect Su Chen to have so many cans. Secondly, she was very interested in the bag in Su Chen's hand. She clearly saw that the bag was only the size of a palm. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be able to hold so many cans. Su Chen, can your bag hold so many things? Yang Qian curiously asked. Su Chen took out the cans in front of them. He didn't want to hide anything and explained. This is a storage space. There are 10 cubic meters of space inside. There is such a magical thing in the world. Yang Qian slightly opened her mouth. She had never heard of storage space before. Today, she learned something new. Su Chen urged, hurry up and eat. After eating, I have something to ask you. Seeing that Su Chen still had so many cans in stock, Yang Qian didn't refuse anymore. Su Chen finished 2 cans and wiped his mouth. Where are the zombies around here? If he wanted to get 3 bottles of pet potion, he had to keep hunting zombies and get the fragments from them. In addition, he still needed 1 fragment of the intelligent chariot. If he could get enough, he could save a lot of time when he went to King Kong City. Chen Ge, do you want to kill zombies? Yang Hao ate 3 cans in a row, burped and asked. Su Chen nodded and said, I do want to kill zombies. Because killing zombies can quickly increase my strength. Yang Hao said, oh, and replied, 20 miles from here, there is a large mine. There are a lot of zombies there. We usually go there to kill zombies. Chapter 37. How many zombies are there? Su Chen asked quickly. Around 10,000 of them. Yang Hao said in a natural manner. So many? How dare you hunt them? Su Chen was surprised. Over 10,000 zombies had formed a small-scale zombie horde. Not to mention Yang Hao, even a level 2 evolver might not be able to survive if they encountered such a horde. Yang Hao knew that Su Chen had misunderstood, so he explained, not all the zombies will come out. Occasionally, a few will come out. At most, there will be 20 or 30 zombies. Su Chen understood and nodded. That's it for today. Tomorrow, you will take me to hunt zombies. Okay, Chen Ge. Yang Hao agreed. Although hunting zombies was dangerous, in order to survive they had killed a few in recent days, so they had some experience. Coupled with a powerhouse like Su Chen, the danger was greatly reduced. Yang Hao, are there people living in the caves outside? Su Chen glanced around the cave, and suddenly remembered that he had no place to stay. Yes. Yang Hao responded and then looked at Yang Qian. He seemed to be asking, why don't we let Chen Ge live here? Yang Qian bit her lips and thought for a while. In the end she nodded. Her idea was simple. Su Chen had killed Lu Shirong and his son. It could be said that he had helped them a lot. She couldn't let Su Chen sleep outside, right? Of course, once she agreed, she would be under a lot of pressure. After all, she was a big girl and Su Chen living in the same cave. It was inevitable that people would gossip about her. Yang Hao didn't think too much about it. He was overjoyed and said, Chen Ge, my sister agreed. You can stay at my house. Su Chen was stunned and turned to look at Yang Qian. He still remembered that Yang Qian had asked him to leave. How could she change her mind in such a short time? Yang Qian's face turned red. When she found that Su Chen was looking at her, she quickly turned her head. She didn't dare to look at Su Chen. Forget it, I will go outside and dig one. Su Chen rubbed his nose. The space in the cave was limited. It was not convenient for one more person to live in it. Hearing this, Yang Qian's face was complicated. She seemed to be relieved, but there was also a trace of disappointment. Big Brother Chen, it's not that easy to dig out a cave. Those rocks are very hard. It'll take at least 10 days to half a month to dig out a cave. Yang Hao reminded with a frown. Digging a cave was a big project for others, but for Su Chen it was a piece of cake. He had a super electric drill in his storage bag, which was a divine tool for digging holes. It's just a small matter. Su Chen winked at Yang Hao. As he walked out he said, help me choose a good place. Yang Hao didn't know what was going on. He shook his head and followed. After walking around the valley, Su Chen finally chose a place not far from Yang Hao's cave. The stone wall here was very smooth and flat. It was very suitable for digging a cave. Chen Ge, change your position. The stones here are much harder than other places. If you really want to dig, you may not be able to dig it out in a month. Yang Hao sighed. Su Chen realized that no wonder there was no cave here. It was because the stones were too hard. I won't change. Here it is. Su Chen smiled and took out the super electric drill from the storage bag. Then, under Yang Hao's surprised gaze, he began to install the energy stone. Chen Ge, what is that in your hand? Seeing another strange thing in Su Chen's hand, Yang Hao's eyes widened. A special tool for digging holes. Su Chen chuckled and placed the super electric drill on the stone wall. He pressed the switch and it began to drill. Under the impact of the drill, the hard stone wall shattered like a piece of paper. Oh my God! Yang Hao was stunned. Chapter 38. In just an hour, a cave about 10 square meters in size was dug out. The area was not very big, but it was enough for one person to live in. After that, with the help of Yang Hao, a simple wooden door and a wooden bed were made. Su Chen finally had his own home in the Huangzi mountain range. After dinner, Su Chen laid on the wooden bed. Tan Lin's figure appeared in his mind. Although it was only a day, his heart still missed Tan Lin very much. Don't worry, I will go to King Kong City to find you soon. Su Chen squinted his eyes and muttered to himself. His plan was to stay in the Huangzi mountain range for 3 days. In these 3 days, in addition to hunting zombies, the blue fruit in the Wolf Valley was also necessary. Once the 3 days were up, he would immediately leave for King Kong City. The next morning, Su Chen went to hunt zombies under the guidance of Yang Qian and Yang Qian. After more than an hour, the three of them entered a sparse forest. A few hundred meters away from the small forest, there was a giant mine pit, and they could vaguely hear the roars of zombies. How do you usually hunt zombies? After waiting for a while in the small forest, there was no sign of zombies. Su Chen was a little impatient. Brother Chen, you have to be patient when hunting zombies. Yang Hao pointed to a place in front of them and continued. We dug a trap in front of us. If a lone zombie appears, we will have the opportunity to lead it into the trap and then kill it. Su Chen nodded. Although Yang Hao's method was a little clumsy, it was relatively safe for ordinary people like them. However, he did not want to passively wait. He needed to kill a large number of zombies. Only then would he be able to get more fragments. Is there a way to lead some of the zombies out of the mine pit? Su Chen asked. It can be done, but the number of zombies drawn out is uncontrollable. Once there are too many, it will be dangerous. Yang Hao's face changed slightly. Yang Qian understood the meaning of Su Chen's words and hurriedly advised. Su Chen, don't think about attracting zombies. Someone had done this before, but hundreds of them were drawn out at once. They were torn to shreds, and many people were implicated. Hearing this, Su Chen disagreed. Not to mention 100 zombies, even a small zombie tide of tens of thousands couldn't do anything to him. It was just that Yang Qian and Yang Hao were too weak. He was worried that they would be in danger, so he decided to wait and see what would happen. If the zombies didn't appear, or if there were too few of them, he might as well let Yang Qian and Wang Yao leave, and he would attract the zombies by himself. After another half an hour, a zombie finally came out of the mine, but it was only one. No matter how small an ant was, it was still meat. Su Chen rushed up with his saber. But before he could run a few steps, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him, and threw a stone at the zombie. The zombie was attacked, and crazily rushed toward the figure. Su Chen saw clearly that the figure was a thin little boy, and he looked younger than Yang Hao. The little boy saw the zombie chasing him, and he was so scared that he turned around and ran. When he was about to run into the small forest, he suddenly stopped. When the zombie was 3 meters away from the little boy, it suddenly fell into a pit. Then 4 or 5 men with weapons rushed out of the small forest and attacked the zombies in the pit. Soon the zombies were killed. Seeing this, Su Chen shook his head and returned to the small forest. Yang Hao, are there a lot of people hunting zombies here? Su Chen asked. Yang Hao nodded. There are several groups nearby. With so many people, how many zombies can you kill in a day? Su Chen frowned. They have been here for more than an hour, and so far only one zombie has appeared. Moreover, there were a lot of people hunting zombies here, and it was not enough to share. Chapter 39. Yang Hao smiled bitterly. Chenggu, we are not evolvers. It would be good if we could kill 3 or 4 zombies in a month. 3 or 4 zombies meant 3 or 4 energy stones. After deducting the protection fee, the remaining energy stones could be exchanged for food and barely fill their stomachs. Yang Hao and the others were satisfied with this result. But for Su Chen, not to mention 3 or 4 zombies in a month, even 30 or 40 zombies in a day would be too little. It seems that I can only use the tactic of attracting zombies. Su Chen secretly made a decision in his heart. According to Yang Hao, waiting passively would result in nothing. And he only had 3 days. Time was tight, and he could not afford to waste even a second. There are zombies coming out, and it is a large group. At this time, Yang Hao suddenly reminded. Su Chen's eyes brightened, and he turned his head to look ahead. He saw a group of about 30 zombies. You guys wait here, I will go and kill the zombies. Su Chen said, raised his sword, and rushed out again. Su Chen, don't mess around. Yang Qian tried to stop Su Chen, but she could not stop him. In desperation, she fiercely stomped her feet. Chenggu is too crazy. Yang Hao swallowed his saliva. 30 zombies, even a level 1 evolver would have to stay away from them. Su Chen's behavior was too impulsive in his eyes. In the distance, several groups of people who were hunting zombies saw Su Chen's crazy behavior and exclaimed, Where did this crazy man come from? He dares to fight with 30 zombies? Does he want to die? Who cares, his brain must be damaged. He can't blame others if he wants to die. While everyone was discussing, Suchin had already rushed to the front of the group of zombies. He waved his sword, and a cold light flashed, and 5 zombies were beheaded. One of the zombies' body lit up with a black light. Suchin was a little excited that he could get a fragment at the beginning, but he was not in a hurry to pick it up. There were still more than 20 zombies, and it would not be too late to kill them all. Roar! The death of their companions made the remaining zombies furious, and they fiercely attacked Suchin. The number of zombies Suchin had killed added up to hundreds, and his experience was incomparably rich. A mere 20 or so zombies couldn't pose any threat to him. He didn't even need to use spells or the pulse pistol. He could easily kill the Reaper zombies with just the machete in his hand. Poochie! Suchin kept swinging his sword, and every slash killed at least 2 zombies. Those zombies didn't even have the chance to get close to Suchin, let alone bite him. They died on the spot. Soon, under Su's merciless harvesting, all 30 zombies were killed. 6 fragments. Suchin squinted his eyes, and when he saw the 6 light beams, a smile appeared on his face. Damn, he's too strong. He must be an evolved human. Since when did we have such a powerful person in Huangza mountain range? 30 zombies. Even a level 1 evolved human would not be so strong, right? The zombie hunters in the distance could not stay calm after seeing Suchin kill 30 zombies in an instant. Chingu is so strong. Yang Hao was dumbfounded. Suchin killed all the zombies effortlessly, showing his incomparable strength, which made his heart unable to calm down for a long time. So he's actually so powerful. Yang Qian, who was at the side, also had a look of shock on her face. At first, she thought that Suchin could kill Lu Shirong mainly because of the pulse pistol. But after seeing Suchin kill 30 zombies with only 1 sword, she completely recognized Suchin's strength. Chapter 40. Suchin sighed and waved towards the forest where Yang Hao was. After killing all the zombies, all that was left was to pick up the fragments and dig for energy stones. He wanted Yang Hao and Yang Qian to come over and help. He could also give them some energy stones. Sister, Chenggu is calling us, let's go over quickly. Yang Hao shouted excitedly from the forest and ran towards Suchin. Yang Qian hesitated for a moment and followed behind Yang Hao. Suchin looked at the fragments again. Out of the 6 fragments, 4 were black and 2 were yellow. After picking up so many fragments, he had a general understanding of what the different colored fragments represented. The black fragments should be used when enough was gathered, such as the Doomsday Shopping Center and the ungraded Gatling gun. The yellow fragments represented seeds and could be used directly. Thinking that he still needed 1 more intelligent chariot fragment to make up the number, Suchin's heart moved as he grabbed a black fragment. Picked up Doomsday Shopping Center, *1, 410, fragments not full cannot be used. The first black fragment was the Doomsday Shopping Center fragment. Including the previous fragments, there were already 4, but there was still a long way to go. Suchin was slightly disappointed. Then he reached for the second black fragment. Picked up Enchanted Divine Sword *1, 33, fragments full can be used. Use. Suchin's expression changed and said without hesitation. As soon as he said that, a black battle sword appeared in his hand. Its appearance was similar to the sword in his hand, and it looked ordinary. However, the feedback in his mind made him very excited. The main characteristic of the Enchanted Divine Sword was that it could increase magic power. In other words, when using the Enchanted Divine Sword to chop, not only could it exert the strength of an evolver, but it could also increase the magic power of a psychic. With 1 chop, the combination of strength and magic power was perfect. Who could block it? Among the same level, it was almost invincible. Awesome. Suchin clenched his fist and almost laughed out loud. With the Enchanted Divine Sword in his hand, his strength had increased by a lot. Then he put the Enchanted Divine Sword into his storage bag, and Suchin continued to pick up the other fragments. The remaining 2 black fragments were level 1 mechanical soldier fragments. There were 3 fragments in total, and they could not be used for the time being. The 2 yellow fragments were hard fruit seeds, and Su Chen threw them into his storage bag. After picking up all the fragments, Yang Hao and Yang Qian came closer. Brother Chen, aren't you too amazing? Looking at the zombie corpses all over the ground, Yang Hao's heart trembled. Just so. Su Chen smiled. So what if there were 30 zombies? He had faced tens of thousands of zombies head-on, so in his eyes, killing 30 zombies was not worth mentioning. So you are not only a level 1 evolver, but you are even stronger than the average level 1 evolver. Yang Qian looked at Su Chen in a daze, her eyes flashing with a strange light. Su Chen rubbed his nose and felt that Yang Qian was looking at him strangely, so he changed the topic. Hurry up and dig for the energy stones. Okay. Yang Hao rolled up his sleeves and took out a dagger. Just as Su Chen and the other 2 were chatting and laughing while digging for energy stones, 3 men walked towards them. When they saw the zombie corpses on the ground, their eyes shone with greed. Chapter 41. Big Brother, what should we do? A one-eyed man among the 3 clicked his tongue and looked at a muscular man with a fierce-looking face beside him as he asked. The muscular man narrowed his eyes and seemed to be lost in thought. Big Brother, there are so many energy stones, aren't you envious? A skinny man beside him echoed. To be able to kill so many zombies, there must be an evolver among them. The muscular man's eyes fell on Su Chen and the other 2. He licked his lips and laughed. But us 3 brothers are not to be trifled with. Let's dig for the energy stones. Big Brother is wise. The one-eyed man and the skinny man looked at each other and smiled, then ran towards the nearest zombie. Yang Hao suddenly saw people coming to snatch the energy stones. He suddenly stood up and shouted at the muscular man and the other 2. What the hell are you doing? There was an unwritten rule in the Huangzi Mountains, that is, whoever killed the zombies, the energy stones would belong to him. These 3 men appeared to snatch the energy stones, obviously breaking the rule. Yang Hao was very angry about this. Su Chen heard the noise and stood up. When he saw the muscular man and the other 2 continuously digging out a few energy stones, his eyes gradually narrowed and muttered, "They actually dare to steal from me. Little bastard. What are you shouting for?" The one-eyed man stopped his hand movement, stared at Yang Hao, and said coldly, "If you dare to disturb me again, I will kill you. Just a little kid. Why are you talking nonsense with him? If you dare to say one more word, we will kill you." The skinny man spat. Yang Hao was too young, plus his skinny body. Obviously he was not a powerful person, so they did not put him in their eyes. Damn. Yang Hao was very angry, his face turned red. We killed the zombies. What right do you have to snatch? Although Yang Qian was also very angry, but she was more worried about Yang Hao, so she pulled him behind her. You can kill so many zombies? You overestimate yourself. The burly man sneered disdainfully and his face darkened. Since you're young and don't know any better, scram now. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. You bandits. Yang Hao roared at the top of his voice and said angrily, I didn't kill the zombies. It was Brother Chen who killed them. The energy stone belongs to Brother Chen. You think he did it just because you say so? I'll still say that I killed him. The man with the bamboo pole laughed wantonly. Yes, all the zombies here were killed by us brothers. If you don't want to die, then scram. One-eyed dragon said arrogantly. The sturdy man didn't speak, his eyes moving back and forth on Su Chen's body. In his eyes, Su Chen was also very young and had a good appearance. He was like an elegant young master, and did not look like a powerful character. However, he faintly felt that Su Chen's body was emitting a murderous aura, which gave him a very dangerous feeling. Su Chen walked forward and glanced at them coldly. He said sternly, Leave the energy stones and I'll spare your lives. As soon as he said that, the 3 men's faces became ugly. They were all level 1 evolutionaries. Even if Su Chen was stronger than the average level 1 evolutionaries, how could he be so arrogant? Boy, you're very arrogant. Do you know who we are? How dare you talk to us like that? Do you want to die? The man's face trembled as he snorted coldly. Although they were a little afraid of Su Chen's words were too arrogant. He didn't treat them as human beings. If they were scared by Su Chen, how could they survive in the future? I don't care who you are. Hand over the energy stones or die. Su Chen didn't want to waste any more time. He had already raised the pulse pistol in his hand. Even if he didn't know how strong they were, in his opinion, even if they were 3 level 1 evolutionaries, he could still kill them all with his current strength. However, to save time, he decided to use the pulse pistol. After all, it was only a matter of 3 energy stones. Chapter 42. Arrogant. The skinny man was furious as he rushed towards Su Chen with a mace. You're still wet behind the ears, go to hell. One-eyed dragon grinned, holding a dagger, and attacked Su Chen from the left and right with the skinny man. The burly man stood in place and looked on coldly. In his opinion, the skinny man and the one-eyed man were more than enough to deal with Su Chen alone. Su Chen narrowed his eyes as he slowly raised his arm. Following 2 gunshots, the skinny man and the one-eyed man's head exploded with blood. Their forward momentum came to an abrupt halt as they fell straight to the ground. What kind of weapon is this? Witnessing this scene, the muscular man was scared out of his wits as his body turned cold. He had never seen such a powerful weapon before. It could kill 2 level 1 evolvers with just a wave of the hand. Even a level 2 evolver could not do this. At this moment, he knew that he had kicked an iron plate. The young man opposite him had such a terrifying weapon, killing him would be a piece of cake. But if he wanted to live, he could not use force. Little brother, don't do it, I have something to say. Seeing that Su Chen's gaze had landed on him, the muscular man's face changed drastically as he quickly said, let's hear it. Su Chen slowly walked forward with a smile on his face. The 3 of them were evolvers, and in the Huangzi mountain range, there were no other evolvers besides himself. Where did these 3 people come from? Su Chen was not in a hurry to attack, as he wanted to find out where they came from. Looking at Su Chen's harmless face, the muscular man was even more scared. Unknowingly, a layer of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. I come from Shuren Colony, my name is Zhou Guang. My uncle is the deputy leader of Shuren Colony. If you kill me, my uncle will avenge me. The muscular man gritted his teeth and said. In order to survive, he could only reveal his identity to make Su Chen wary. Shuren's Colony. Su Chen muttered. He had heard of Shuren's Colony before. It was bigger than Tiannan's colony, and it was much stronger. There were more than 20 evolvers and psychics in total. The strongest of them all was their leader, a level 2 mage. Since you're from Shuren's Colony, what are you doing in the Huangzi mountain range? Su Chen asked. Shuren's gathering place was at least 300 to 400 miles away from the desolate Lake Mountain range. For him to come all the way here, it was obvious that he had a purpose. We're here for the indigo fruit. Zhou Guang revealed everything, not daring to hide anything. He was afraid that if he didn't tell the truth, he would anger Su Chen and bring a fatal disaster upon himself. So it's for the indigo fruit. Su Chen muttered. Consuming the indigo fruit had a certain chance of becoming a telekinesis master. It was reasonable that such a treasure would attract the attention of others. Little brother, what happened before was a misunderstanding. I'm willing to compensate you. Please let me go. Seeing that Su Chen's expression had softened, Zhou Guang smiled and tried to please him. In order to express his apology, he took out a few energy stones and handed them to Su Chen. You're quite the troublemaker. Su Chen nodded. As he put the pulse pistol into his storage pouch, he suddenly swung his blade. You. Zhou Guang was furious. He didn't expect Su Chen to suddenly attack. It was too late for him to dodge. He could only watch as the blade came down on his head. Chapter 43. Gotcha. The blade was deeply embedded in Zhou Guang's head. Su Chen pulled back his sword, and Zhou Guang fell to the ground. His eyes were still wide open, as if he had died with a grievance. Originally, with his strength, even if he was not Su Chen's match, he could still contend with him for a while. However, his mind was distracted by Su Chen's power. Coupled with the fact that Su Chen had launched a sneak attack, his life was ended in one strike. Su Chen turned his eyes and glanced at Zhou Guang's body. A sneer flashed across the corner of his mouth. In the post-apocalyptic world, being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. He and Zhou Guang could be considered to have sowed a grudge. He absolutely would not let the tiger return to the mountain. As for Zhou Guang's threat, he did not take it to heart. Shi-An's colony did not know that he was the one who killed Zhou Guang. Even if they knew, what could they do? They were only level 1 and 2 evolvers and psychics. He could kill as many as they came. Continue to dig for energy stones, Su Chen said to Yang Hao and Yang Qian after solving the problem. Got it, Chen Ge. Yang Hao replied and squatted down to get busy. His hands were not slow, but his heart was not calm. If it was not for Su Chen, he might not even be able to keep his life, let alone dig for energy stones. Thinking back to the time when he was bullied by Lu Wei, he realized that if he wanted to live a stable life in the post-apocalyptic world, he had to become stronger. Su Chen and the other two worked together and quickly dug out 30 energy stones. In addition to the ones found on Zhou Guang and the other two, there were a total of 39 energy stones. Su Chen took 30, and the remaining 9 were given to Yang Qian and Yang Hao. Thank you, Chen Ge, Yang Hao said with a smile. Obtaining 9 energy stones in one go was something that he didn't even dare to imagine. Even when Yang Lingtian was still alive, he hadn't obtained so many in one go. Su Chen, we don't need that much. Yang Qian felt a little embarrassed. The zombies here were all killed by Su Chen, and they only helped to dig up some energy stones. Su Chen gave them too much. Don't worry, just take it, Su Chen said indifferently. As his strength continued to increase, killing zombies also became easier. With 9 energy stones, he only needed to kill 9 ordinary zombies. It was as easy as lifting his hand. Chen Ge, do you still want to continue hunting zombies? Yang Hao asked. From his point of view, Su Chen had already killed 30 zombies and obtained 30 energy stones. The harvest was huge, and he could go back and rest today. Of course, and this time I also want to attract some zombies. Su Chen's eyes glanced at the distant mine, and said lightly. Hearing this, Yang Qian and Yang Hao's face changed. Su Chen, don't mess around. Yang Qian hurriedly dissuaded. Indeed, Su Chen's strength was strong, but there were tens of thousands of zombies in the pit, and there were also high-level zombies. If too many zombies were attracted, they would fall into eternal damnation. Chen Ge, why don't we continue to wait for zombies to come out? Yang Hao also thought that Su Chen was too impulsive, and suggested. No need. Su Chen's tone was firm. Later you guys hide well. If too many zombies come out, immediately leave here. But Yang Qian still wanted to persuade, but Su Chen had already jogged toward the mine. Sister, what should we do? Seeing that Su Chen really went to attract zombies, Yang Hao's voice trembled. Listen to him. Yang Qian helplessly sighed, and then returned to the small forest with Yang Hao. Chapter 44. The zombie hunters in the distance were shocked when they saw Su Chen running toward the pit. This guy is really crazy. He's going to attract zombies. Who cares? He's strong. No matter how strong he is, he can't court death, right? It's best if he dies. Then the energy stones on him will belong to us. Su Chen's action once again caused a commotion among the zombie hunters. Some people even gloated, thinking that Su Chen would definitely die this time, and they could take the opportunity to get some benefits. On the other side, when Su Chen was about to run to the edge of the pit, he slowed down and released his divine sense. There were tens of thousands of zombies in the mineshaft. If they were not careful, they might fail miserably. For safety's sake, Su Chen lay on the ground and slowly crawled to the edge of the pit. Then he poked his head out and looked at the bottom of the pit. The area of the pit was not very big, but it was very deep. It was bottomless, and there was no end in sight. The bottom was dark, and he did not know where it led to. On the stone walls around the pit, There was a wide road in a spiral shape, extending from the top to the bottom of the pit. It was crowded with zombies, and there were close to 10,000 of them as far as the eye could see. If there were zombies at the bottom of the pit, the number must have reached a terrifying level. Suchin took a deep breath and calmed down. Then he picked up a stone from the ground and threw it at the zombie in front of him. Pa! The stone accurately hit the zombie's head. Roar! Woo-woo! The zombie that was hit was instantly enraged. A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples, and the surrounding zombies also roared angrily. When they found Suchin standing at the edge of the pit, they rushed up crazily. Suchin's purpose had been achieved. He turned around and ran. He ran more than a mile before he stopped. Behind him, a group of ferocious-looking zombies rushed out of the mine. 10, 20, 30. Their numbers continued to increase. In the blink of an eye, there were more than 100 of them, and they were heading towards 200. Chun-gu has attracted the zombies, but there are too many of them. In the woods, Yang Hao saw the tide of zombies rushing towards Suchin, and his face became very ugly. Yang Qian bit her lips tightly, her face as pale as snow, her eyes filled with worry. Only a level 3 evolver could fight against 200 zombies, but Suchin was only a level 1 evolver, so it was impossible for him to fight against them. Chun-gu run. Seeing that not only did Suchin not run, but he also stopped and assumed a fighting stance, Yang Hao's heart was burning with anxiety. When the zombie hunters saw so many zombies running out at once, they were afraid of being caught in the crossfire. None of them continued to watch, and all of them ran away. Suchin knew that if he only relied on brute force to kill so many zombies, he would not be able to kill all of them. Therefore, he did not hesitate to take out the pulse pistol. The energy stones that he had obtained before were all filled up. In addition to the previous ones, there were more than 50 energy stones in total. When the zombies were about 30 meters away, Suchin pulled the trigger. With a gunshot, the zombie at the front fell to the ground. The other zombies turned a blind eye to the death of their companions, and all of them rushed towards Suchin crazily. Suchin kept pulling the trigger. After more than 10 shots, the zombies on the ground had already fallen, and there were a few beams of light among them. Seeing the fragments, Suchin was excited, and the speed at which he pulled the trigger increased. Chapter 45. Bang bang. Gunshots pierced through the sky, and zombies died on the spot. When Suchin was in the middle of killing, he suddenly noticed that a zombie that was shot only slightly shook, and then rushed towards him at an extremely fast speed. Level 2 zombie. Suchin's eyelids twitched. One must know that the pulse pistol could kill ordinary zombies and level 1 zombies like cutting vegetables, but the zombie that rushed over was not killed. Its strength was definitely not comparable to a level 1 zombie. In addition, its speed was also extremely fast, obviously faster than other zombies, so it could be determined that it was a level 2 zombie. Suchin had never fought with a level 2 zombie before, and without knowing its strength he did not dare to be careless, and quickly activated the rapid war boots. When the 2 streaks of purple light wrapped around his feet, he quickly dodged to the side with a tap of his foot. The level 2 zombie didn't expect Suchin's speed to be so fast, and it missed. At this time, Suchin held the chopping knife with both hands, and aimed at the level 2 zombie's head and fiercely chopped down. Gotcha! A crisp sound was heard. The chopping knife accurately hit the level 2 zombie's head, but it did not chop it into pieces as expected. Instead, the chopping knife broke into 2 from the middle. F***ck. Feeling a sharp pain in his hand, Suchin's heart skipped a beat, and at the same time, he pulled out the knife and quickly retreated. The level 2 zombie's physical strength was actually able to break the chopping knife. This was something he did not expect. The level 2 zombie suffered a heavy blow, and a bloody wound appeared on its forehead. Black blood flowed out from the wound, and flowed all over its face, making it look even more ferocious and terrifying. Woo! The level 2 zombie let out a painful roar, grimacing in pain, and once again rushed towards Suchin. Feeling a fishy smell coming towards him, Suchin sneered, and reached out his hand to take out the enchanted knife from the storage bag. After injecting wind magic into it, he held the knife and slashed out horizontally. Buzz buzz. The enchanted magic saber let out a trembling sound, and the whole saber changed rapidly. In an instant, it became more than 3 meters long, and its surface was surrounded by a layer of gray light. The level 2 zombie that had rushed over was cut into two like a piece of paper the moment it came into contact with the blade. The moment it fell, 2 beams of light, one gold and one red, lit up on its body. There are actually 2 fragments. And there's even a golden one. Suchin was pleasantly surprised. He still remembered that the first fragment he had picked up was a golden fragment. He, on the other hand, had become an evolver and a psychic. If it were a shard of another color, he wouldn't be in a hurry to pick it up. However, the golden shard had the potential to increase his strength again, so he was a little impatient. Suchin rushed forward and grabbed the golden shard. A familiar strange sound rang out in his mind. Picked up, level 2 all attributes fragment *1, 1. The fragment is full, can be used. Use. In an instant, Suchin felt that his body had been improved again. His body was much stronger, and there was a huge amount of power in his body. At the same time, an image appeared in his mind. Host, Suchin evolver level 2 psychic, psychic level 2 psychic level 2, all elemental psychic. Haha. Suchin laughed wildly. I am a level 2 evolver, a level 2 psychic and a level 2 psychic. Who dares to fight with me? Although Suchin had only increased by 1 level, his strength had increased exponentially. In addition, when a psychic reached level 2, their psychic power could extend up to 20 meters, and it could also be used as an invisible force to attack or defend. It could be said that it was both offensive and defensive. Chapter 46. Suchin collected his thoughts and grabbed the red shard before the rest of the zombies rushed over. Picked up full attribute mana recovery potion *1, 1. The shards are full, ready to use. Use. Suchin did not hesitate, and a glass bottle appeared in his hand. It was filled with a transparent liquid. At the same time, some information appeared in his mind. Full attribute mana recovery potion, after consumption, can restore magic power to its peak state in an extremely short period of time. Good stuff. Suchin smiled and carefully put the full attribute mana recovery potion into his storage bag. At this time, more than a dozen zombies had rushed in front of him. Looking at the ferocious and terrifying faces, Suchin did not show any fear. Instead, there was a hint of excitement in his narrowed eyes. In other people's eyes, zombies were like tigers, but in his eyes, they were all energy stones and fragments. Good timing. Suchin laughed wantonly. Instead of retreating, he rushed forward and swept out his sword. A gray wave of air surged out from the blade. Wherever it passed, the sound of bones breaking could be heard. None of the zombies that came in contact with the gray wave were intact, and none of them could survive. After entering level 2, the power of the enchanted sword had also increased. With one slash, more than 20 zombies were killed. However, although the power of the enchanted sword was unparalleled, it also consumed a lot of magic power. In order to preserve his strength, Suchin did not use this killing move anymore, and instead he used his spiritual power. He focused his mind, and his spiritual power overflowed from his mind, turning into an invisible fist, and hammered the zombies that rushed past. Bang bang. In a series of explosions, the heads of the zombies were smashed. Because the spiritual power was invisible and colorless, the zombies did not understand how they died. After understanding the power of the spiritual power and the strangeness of killing people invisibly, Suchin did not use his spiritual power anymore, and started to study magic attacks. He condensed a fireball in his palm and threw it out. The fireball whistled and fell into the group of zombies. With a loud roar, it blew up a dozen zombies on the spot. It could be said that after entering level 2, the size of the fireball didn't change much. It was still the size of a fist, but the color was much darker, and its power had increased greatly. Then Suchin used several other types of spells such as icicles, wind blades and thunderstorm, one after another, and carried out an all-around indiscriminate slaughter of the zombies. For a moment in front of Suchin, Flames soared into the sky, thunder roared, and the wind whistled. It was a scene of destruction. As time passed, the number of zombies that had died in Su Chen's hands had exceeded 100. Su Chen, on the other hand, was still standing on the same spot. He was able to kill countless zombies with just his spells, making it difficult for the zombies to get close to him. Yang Hao and Yang Qian, who were in the distant forest, were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. Sister, I'm not seeing things right? Is Chungu using spells to attack? Yang Hao swallowed his saliva and asked in a daze. I think so. Yang Qian replied. Her beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. But Chungu used a lot of spells. Could he be an all-around psychic? Thinking of this, Yang Hao was even more shocked. His voice trembled as he spoke. Ah! Yang Qian reacted with a dull expression. After Yang Hao's reminder, she suddenly realized that Su Chen did use a lot of spells such as wind blades, fireballs, and so on. Then, Yang Qian and Yang Hao looked at each other. Their mouths were wide open. Oh my god! Not only was Su Chen an evolved human, but he was also a psychic, and an all-around psychic. Facing a monster like Su Chen, how could the zombies survive? Chapter 47. On the other side, Su Chen became more and more energetic as he killed. When he felt that it was not enough, he simply gave up on using spells and picked up the enchanted divine sword to engage in close combat with the zombies. 10 minutes later, the remaining zombies all fell under the butcher's knife. Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief and glanced around. Soon, more than 20 dazzling beams of light appeared in his line of sight, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. More than 20 fragments. He had never obtained so many fragments at once before. Just as he was about to pick them up, a group of zombies rushed out of the mine pit, and there were close to 100 of them. Su Chen could guess that it must be because he had made too much of a commotion using spells, and attracted the zombies. Facing hundreds of zombies, if it were anyone else, they would have long fled for their lives. However, for Su Chen it was just a matter of 10 minutes. Before the zombies rushed over, Su Chen did not stay idle, and began to pick up the fragments. As the fragments were scattered, it was impossible to pick up all of them in a short period of time, so he picked up the black fragments first. Among the fragments that had appeared so far, the gold fragments were the most valuable, followed by the black fragments. This had been verified by the enchanted divine sword. Moreover, there was only one more, intelligent chariot fragment, to be collected, so Su Chen was looking forward to it. Then he grabbed toward the first black fragment. Picked up Doomsday Mall Fragment X1, 4/10. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. The first fragment was not a intelligent chariot fragment, so Su Chen was not too disappointed. This was because he saw clearly that there were still 9 black fragments, and the probability of a intelligent chariot being dropped was still very high. Su Chen grabbed toward the second black fragment. Picked up Level 1 Mechanical Soldier Fragment X1, 2/10. Fragments are not full, cannot be used. The third fragment was also a Level 1 Mechanical Soldier Fragment. The fourth fragment was still the same. The 7th and 8th fragments were all Level 1 Mechanical Soldier Fragments without exception. At this moment, Su Chen was a little uneasy. After picking up 8 Level 1 Mechanical Soldier Fragments consecutively, he had already collected 9 fragments. He only needed one more to complete it. Don't tell me the last one is the same? Su Chen grabbed the last black fragment excitedly. Picked up Level 1 Mechanical Soldier Fragment *1, 10/10. Fragments are full, ready to be used. Use it. Su Chen did not expect that he would be able to gather enough Level 1 Mechanical Soldiers, instead of intelligent chariots. The moment he said use, a 2-meter-tall robot made of silver metal appeared beside him. Furthermore, it had a silver spear on its back and a shiny silver scimitar in its hand. It looks a bit awesome. Su Chen clicked his tongue in wonder. Just from its appearance, the Level 1 Mechanical Soldier, shone with a silver light, looked majestic, and looked especially cool. After that, Suchin followed the instructions he received and took out a level 1 energy stone from his storage bag and embedded it in the chest of the mechanical soldier. In order to activate the level 1 mechanical soldier, an energy stone had to be installed. Furthermore, normal energy stones did not meet the requirements. Only a level 1 energy stone was qualified. Activated, please give the order, Master. A silver light flashed in the eyes of the mechanical soldier, as it looked at Suchin in a very human-like manner. It can speak. Suchin's expression changed. He pointed at the zombies that were charging toward him and ordered, "Kill them." Chapter 48. Yes, Master. The mechanical soldier received the order, swung the machete in its hand, turned around, and rushed toward the zombies. When he ran, he was like a ferocious beast, stomping on the ground with every step he took. Suchin stood where he was and observed carefully. The mechanical soldier was something made from 10 black pieces. Logically speaking, it should have very strong combat power. However, whether that was the case or not, he still needed to see its performance to make a judgment. In an instant, the mechanical soldier rushed into the zombie crowd, swinging its machete and slashing, killing. Normal zombies were killed with 1 strike. If it encountered a level 1 zombie, it could easily kill it with 2 or 3 strikes. This guy is strong enough. Suchin nodded slightly, showing a satisfied look on his face. The mechanical soldier's fighting style was very fierce. It could be said that it had no defense at all, and it only used its killing moves from beginning to end. Even if there were zombies biting on its body, it would not care. At first, Suchin was still a little worried that the mechanical soldier would be damaged. However, when he saw a zombie biting the mechanical soldier's shoulder, and even its teeth were broken, he was completely relieved. The mechanical soldier was made of metal, so normal zombies and even level 1 zombies could not do much damage to it. Suchin also judged that although the mechanical soldier's strength was not as strong as his, it was still quite scary. Even if it encountered a level 2 zombie, it could still fight. After watching for a while, Suchin began to pick up the other fragments since he had nothing to do. After picking up a universal oven and a breadfruit tree seed, Kiran suddenly remembered something and quickly ran forward. There were almost 100 zombies. If he killed them, he would definitely get a lot of fragments. Therefore, he did not plan to let the mechanical soldier do it. If he killed all the zombies and did not get a single fragment, it would be a big loss. Suchin had just run closer when he suddenly saw a zombie fall under the mechanical soldier's machete, and a light beam lit up on its body. He was stunned for a moment, then he was overjoyed. Clearly, mechanical soldiers could also drop fragments from killing zombies. Then, when he encountered zombies in the future, he could use the mechanical soldier to help him kill more zombies and obtain more fragments. Not bad, Suchin laughed, picked up the enchanted sword, and rushed into the zombie crowd. Because he was worried that zombies would be attracted, he didn't use any magic this time. After all, he had killed enough zombies today, and the harvest was enough to satisfy him, so there was no need to continue killing. Suchin and the mechanical soldier teamed up and killed everything in their path. The zombies fell in droves and were slaughtered in the blink of an eye. At the same time, 9 beams of light lit up on the zombie corpses. Seeing that there were 9 more fragments, Suchin could not help but laugh. He then waved his hand in the direction of the small forest. There were nearly 300 zombies. If he were to dig out the energy stones by himself, he didn't know how long it would take. Therefore, he had to ask Yang Hao and Yang Qian to come over and help. Little Tai, pay attention to the nearby movements. If there are zombies near, kill them immediately, Suchin ordered the mechanical soldier, and began to pick up the fragments. The reason why he called it Little Tai was that he felt that the name was more intimate, and it also fit the mechanical soldier's body. After all, it was made of metal. Yes, Master. The mechanical soldier responded and looked around vigilantly. Suchin glanced at the 9 fragments, and his eyelids suddenly twitched. He said softly, "Colorful fragments." Chapter 49. 5 meters away from Su Chen, there was a colorful shard that was emitting a beautiful light. Su Chen had picked up quite a number of shards, but they were all monochromatic. This was the first time he had seen a colorful shard. Out of curiosity, the first shard he picked up was this colorful shard. Picked up, upgrade gem shard *1, shards full, ready to use. Use. As soon as he finished speaking, a hexagonal green gem appeared in Su Chen's hand. It was like a piece of high-quality jade green and without any impurities. After receiving the feedback, he was even more excited. Upgrade gem was simply used to level up. Mechanical soldier, pulse pistol, and even the storage bag could all be used to level up. Level 1 mechanical soldier would become Level 2 mechanical soldier after leveling up. Level 1 pulse pistol would become Level 2 pulse pistol after leveling up. After the storage bag leveled up, the original 10 cubic meters of space would be expanded to 20 cubic meters. Good stuff. Su Chen stared at the upgrade gem and was very excited. Originally, after obtaining the Level 2 all attributes shard and collecting the Level 1 mechanical soldier shards, he felt that his harvest was already quite rich. However, after knowing the use of the upgrade gem, he was still a little uneasy. Imagine after the Level 1 mechanical soldier leveled up, its strength would be able to compete with a Level 3 zombie. When the Level 1 pulse pistol became Level 2, it would be able to easily kill a Level 2 zombie. It could be said that no matter which one he leveled up, Su Chen's strength would greatly increase. In addition, there were also great benefits to leveling up the storage bag. 10 cubic meters of space did not seem small, but as more and more zombies were killed, the number of good items dropped would also increase. 10 cubic meters of space was a little stretched. Which one should I level up? Su Chen was a little conflicted. The upgrade gem was awesome, but there was only one. He could not decide at the moment, so he simply put it in the storage bag. It would not be too late to use it when he made up his mind. At this time, Yang Qian and Yang Hao had already run over excitedly. When the mechanical soldier saw a stranger approaching, it immediately blocked in front of Su Chen. It was ordered to kill any zombies it saw, but it did not know how to treat humans. Adhering to the principle of loyalty, he immediately protected Su Chen. Chingu, what is this metal guy? Yang Hao's eyes widened as he kept looking at the mechanical soldier with a face full of surprise. It's called Little Iron. Su Chen curled his lips and said with a smile, it's a robot and can be considered as my personal bodyguard. What's a robot? Yang Hao was a little confused. A mechanical was a name, he had never heard of it before. Su Chen thought for a moment and said, it can be considered a puppet with intelligence. A puppet. A mechanical was not a mechanical puppet. Zhao Su Chen added the adjective intelligent in front of his words. Puppet. Yang Hao muttered. He had heard of puppets before, but he had never heard of such a strange and powerful puppet like the mechanical soldier. Moreover, he immediately realized that Su Chen was an evolver and a Dharma psychic master. Now, he even had such a powerful puppet god. How many trump cards does Su Chen have? How strong is he? Yang Hao's heart was in turmoil, and he could not calm down for a long time. Chapter 50. Yang Qian glanced at the mechanical soldier, and then turned to Su Chen. She asked, Su Chen, are you also a psychic? Beside him, Yang Hao added, an all-elemental Dharma psychic? Su Chen smiled and did not comment. Other than being an evolver and a psychic, he was also a divine psychic, but there was no need to say it out loud. Looking at Su Chen's expression, Yang Qian was sure that Su Chen was indeed an all-round psychic. She sighed in her heart. To have such achievements at such a young age, what a rare man. Let's hurry up and dig for energy stones, Su Chen said. Yang Qian and Yang Hao came back to their senses and did not think too much about it. They began to dig. There were more than 300 energy stones to be dug out, and it was enough to keep them busy. Su Chen was not in a hurry to dig out the energy stones. There were still fragments waiting to be picked up. After spending 5 minutes, Su Chen finished picking up the fragments. The remaining fragments were mostly potions, seeds, and the like. The only thing that piqued Su Chen's interest was the level 1 pulse pistol and a level 1 constitution potion. Level 1 pulse pistol. Killing zombies below level 2 was easy, fast, and effortless. He was quite happy to be able to get another one. The level 1 constitution potion was not simple. After taking it, one could become a level 1 evolver in a short time. It was very difficult to become an evolver. For example, in the original Tiannan colony, there were only 10 evolvers out of 10,000 people. However, the level 1 constitution potion could easily turn someone into an evolver. It was obvious how valuable it was. Su Chen even thought that if he put it on the market, it would definitely cause a sensation and countless people would go crazy to buy it. Of course, he would not sell such a precious item. After a while, Su Chen also began to dig for energy stones, especially those from the level 1 zombies. Compared to ordinary energy stones, level 1 energy stones were slightly larger and brighter in color. Most importantly, the energy contained within them was denser. Su Chen now had an additional, level 1 mechanical soldier, and its power source was a level 1 energy stone. Therefore, he had to collect all the level 1 energy stones and leave them for the level 1 mechanical soldiers. An hour later, all the energy stones were finally dug out. Looking at the pile of shining energy stones in the storage bag, Su Chen was satisfied and didn't want to continue hunting zombies. Then he put the level 1 mechanical soldier into his storage bag and rushed back to the valley with Yang Qian. As soon as they returned to the valley, Su Chen began to distribute the energy stones. He gave Yang Qian and Yang Hao 20 ordinary energy stones each. As for himself, he still had 260 common energy stones, 20 level 1 energy stones, and 1 level 2 energy stone. Yang Hao looked at the 20 energy stones in his hand and smiled like a fool. Su Chen, thank you. Yang Qian expressed her heartfelt gratitude. 20 energy stones was something that she could only dream of in the past. You're welcome. Su Chen smiled, and then chatted for a while before returning to the cave. Sitting on the wooden bed, Su Chen opened the storage bag and began to count the things inside. Canned food took up more than half of the storage bag. There were more other kinds of things, and each of them was expensive. It was no exaggeration to say that Su Chen's family was so rich that it was richer than some small colonies. Chapter 51. Glancing inside the storage bag, Su Chen's eyes first fell on the glass bottles filled with various potions. There were 5 types of potions: antivirus potion, healing potion, level 1 constitution potion, full attribute mana potion, and pet potion. Among them, there were 7 bottles of antivirus potion, followed by 3 bottles of pet potion. There was only 1 bottle of each of the remaining potions. Su Chen sorted out the different types of potions and started to deal with the energy stones. Considering that there might be an emergency, he filled the pulse pistols with normal energy stones and installed more than 100 of them in each pistol. The remaining 20 level 1 energy stones were installed on the mechanical soldiers. With 20 of them, the mechanical soldiers would not have to worry about energy for a long time. As for the only level 2 energy stone, since he did not need it for the time being, he put it together with the upgrade gem. Then he started to organize the seeds again. The number and types of seeds were more than the potions. Su Chen currently has hard fruit seed, bread tree seed, apple tree seed, banana tree seed, strawberry seed, watermelon seed. After sorting out the seeds, Su Chen took out a breadfruit seed. The information he had received was that after the breadfruit seed was planted, it would grow and bear fruit in a very short period of time, and it would only take 24 hours to bear fruit. Since he had nothing to do, Su Chen decided to verify the authenticity of the information. Then he dug a pile of soil from outside and buried the breadfruit seed. He watered it and stood aside to observe. After a few breaths, a magical scene played out. A small green sapling broke out of the soil and grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. After 10 minutes, it grew into a 2-meter-tall plant. Its trunk was as thick as a thigh, straight and well-proportioned. On top of it was an umbrella-shaped tree crown. The wide leaves were green and exuded vitality. Just as Su Chen was marveling at the sight, he noticed bowl-sized flowers blooming under the canopy. There were a total of 10 flowers, and they were clustered together in a colorful cluster. Are they going to bear fruit? Su Chen stared at the flowers. Just as this thought flashed through his mind, he saw the flowers wither and fall to the ground at the same time, replaced by yellow fruits that were the same color as bread. At first, the fruit was only the size of a thumb, but in the blink of an eye, it grew to the size of an apple, and continued to grow until it reached the size of a watermelon. Looking at the strangely shaped fruits, Su Chen muttered, "Is this bread or fruit?" After calming himself down, he casually plucked one and took a bite. "Not bad," Su Chen praised. The fruit in his hand not only had the aroma of bread, but also the unique sweetness of fruit. It was very sweet and delicious. Su Chen hadn't eaten bread for a long time, so he started to gobble it up. After eating one breadfruit seed, he still felt that it wasn't enough, so he ate 2 more before stopping. After eating his fill, Su Chen picked all the remaining fruits and put them into his storage bag. The breadfruit tree's fruiting period was 24 hours. If he didn't pick it in time, it would be a waste. After that, Su Chen took out the newly obtained universal oven and studied it. Chapter 52. From the outside, the universal oven was just a normal barbecue rack. The only difference was that there was a control panel on the side. The control panel had a wide range of uses. Not only could it control the heat, but it could also change the taste of the barbecue. Simply put, there was no need to add any seasonings. As long as you pressed the button, the barbecue would have a slight spicy or original flavor. Interesting. Su Chen narrowed his eyes. It had been a long time since he had barbecued meat, so he was craving it. He even thought about hunting a mutant beast tomorrow for a barbecue. However, mutant beasts were not easy to kill. Plus, he still had 3 bottles of pet potion. If he encountered a mutant beast, he would first take it as his spirit pet to increase his strength. After putting the universal oven into his storage bag, Su Chen laid on the wooden bed and muttered, "Looks like I have to change my plan." Originally, he planned to stay in the Huangzi Mountains for 3 days, and then rush to King Kong City. He didn't expect that today's harvest would far exceed his expectations. There was no need to waste another day. The only pity was that after killing so many zombies, he didn't get a single intelligent chariot fragment. In this case, he could only walk to King Kong City. Tomorrow I will go to the Wolf Valley, and the day after tomorrow to King Kong City. Su Chen made up his mind. He slowly closed his eyes and began to rest. The next morning, Su Chen woke up early. After a night of rest, his face was refreshed. After hurriedly finishing his breakfast, he went to Yang Hao's cave and explained the purpose of his visit. "Su Chen, you really want to go to the Wolf Valley?" Yang Qian looked at Su Chen in a daze. Although Su Chen's main purpose was to get the blue fruit, he could also rescue her father. "Yes." Su Chen nodded. His handsome face revealed a confident smile. With his current strength and trump cards, the trip to the Wolf Valley would not be a problem. Thinking about Su Chen's terrifying ability to kill more than 300 zombies, Yang Qian didn't say anything more. "Chen Ge, shall I go with you?" Yang Hao suggested. The Wolf Valley was over 50 miles away from here. Su Chen had just arrived and was unfamiliar with the place, so he wanted to act as a guide for Su Chen. "No need, I alone am enough." Su Chen refused. For him, it would take at most half a day to cover a distance of 50 miles. Besides, Yang Hao was too weak. He didn't want to bring a burden with him. "After I leave, don't go out to hunt zombies." Su Chen reminded them before he left after asking about the specific location of the Wolf Valley. Then, under the watchful eyes of Yang Qian and Yang Hao, he left alone. "Sister, if father is trapped in the Wolf Valley, with my understanding of Chen Gu, he will definitely rescue father." When Su Chen's figure disappeared from sight, Yang Hao slowly said, "How many days have you known him?" Yang Qian whispered. In her heart, she was wondering what kind of person Su Chen was. Su Chen looked cold and ruthless. Those who provoked him did not have a good ending. They were all killed. But he knew how to repay kindness. Yang Hao only let him rest at home for a few hours, and he killed Lu Shirong and his son, helping them out of danger. Then he took them to hunt zombies and gave them a lot of energy stones. And this time, it was very likely that he would be able to rescue their father. Really an unfathomable guy. Unconsciously, Yang Qian had an indescribable feeling towards Su Chun. Chapter 53. The Huangzi mountain range was vast, and there were many mutated beasts. Most of them lived in the depths of the Huangzi mountain range, and only a few of them went to the outskirts. The Wolf Valley was located in the depths. After half a day, Su Chun finally found the location of the Wolf Valley. His journey was not smooth sailing, and he was attacked by a level 1 mutated beast that looked like a wild boar. Considering that he only had 3 bottles of pet potion on him, and that he had to leave them for the 3 mutated wolves, he killed it. He kept the corpse in his storage bag, saving it for future barbecue. After killing the mutated beast, he unexpectedly obtained a fragment of mana recovery potion. At first, Su Chun thought that only zombies would drop fragments, but he did not expect that killing mutated beasts would drop fragments as well, and this made him very excited. From the outside, the Wolf Valley did not look special. It was surrounded by mountains, and each mountain peak reached the clouds. Climbing in from the mountains was harder than climbing to the sky, and there was only one way to enter the Wolf Valley. In between 2 of the mountains, there was a very narrow gap, and this was the only way to enter the Wolf Valley. Su Chun stood in place and looked for a while, then took out a pulse pistol, and slowly walked along the gap. After walking for about 50 meters, the front suddenly opened up. Su Chun stepped out of the gap, and the first thing that came into his sight was a giant tree that was as tall as a 10-story building. At the top of the giant tree was a dense canopy that covered the sky, and almost covered the entire sky of the Wolf Valley. In addition, below the giant tree, there were 3 large mutated wolves, each of them more than 3 meters long. The colors of their fur were different as well. They were red, green, and white respectively. The moment Su Chun stepped into the Wolf Valley, the 3 mutated wolves got up from the ground with a whoosh. They bared their fangs and looked at Su Chun with murderous eyes. They should be the 3 mutated wolves in the Wolf Valley. Su Chun's eyes flickered. After putting the pulse pistol into the storage bag, he walked straight to the 3 mutant wolves. Woo-woo. When the 3 mutated wolves saw that Su Chun did not run, and even dared to walk towards them, they roared angrily and made an attacking posture. They look fierce. I wonder how strong they are? Su Chun did not care, and continued to walk forward. But at this time, on a thick branch of the giant tree, stood a middle-aged man with messy hair. When he saw Su Chun's action, he hurriedly called out, "Little brother, run. Those are 3 level 1 mutated wolves." Hearing this, Su Chun looked up. After seeing the middle-aged man's face clearly, his heart moved slightly. Although the man had messy hair on his face, his facial features were clearly seen by Su Chun's eyes. It could be said that the middle-aged man's appearance was 70 to 80% similar to Yang Hao. "Uncle, are you Yang Lingtian?" Su Chun asked loudly. "I am Yang Lingtian, do you know me?" Yang Lingtian replied, but his face suddenly changed and he shouted, "Be careful." At this time, the 3 mutated wolves suddenly attacked. Their attack style was different from other mutated beasts, and they did not rush forward to engage in close combat, but instead used spells to attack. The red mutated wolf spat out a fireball. The green mutated wolf spat out a green vine. The white mutated wolf spat out a silver icicle. The fire, wood, and ice spells all flew towards Su Chun. "It's over." Yang Lingtian, who was on the giant tree, sighed. From his point of view, Su Chun would not be able to dodge the 3 mutated wolves' spells at the same time, and only death awaited him. Chapter 54. It knows spells too. Su Chun was not surprised. Instead, he was delighted. Generally speaking, mutated beasts rarely use spells. However, once they had spells, their abilities would be like his, crushing opponents of the same level. It was even possible for them to kill opponents of a higher level. Su Chen had already planned to tame these 3 mutated wolves. Of course, he wanted them to be as strong as possible. In the face of the incoming attack, Su Chen casually waved his hand, and a gray wind blade flew out. In an instant, it collided with the fireball, vines and icicles. It easily sliced them apart. Then it flew towards the green mutated wolf. The green mutated wolf obviously did not expect Su Chen to be not only a psychic, but also release such a powerful wind blade. It was too late for it to dodge now. It could only watch as the wind blade slashed its body. Then it was sent flying. There was a long and narrow wound on its body. The flesh inside was white and fresh blood was flowing out. Fortunately, the 3 spells from before had offset part of the wind blade's power. Otherwise, it would have died on the spot. He's actually a magic psychic, and a level 2 magic psychic at that. Young Lingtian, who was on top of the giant tree, cried out in shock. The situation had taken a turn for the worse. He originally thought that Su Chen was dead for sure. Unexpectedly, Su Chen was a Dharma psychic master, and his strength was abnormally strong. Not only did he destroy 3 spells with a casual attack, but he also severely injured one of the mutated wolves. There was no doubt that someone with such terrifying abilities must be a level 2 psychic. When the remaining 2 mutated wolves saw their comrade fall to the ground, they were instantly enraged. The white mutated wolf howled and stopped using spells to attack Su Chen. It moved its feet and leaped towards Su Chen in a few leaps. The red mutated wolf circled around from the side and used a sneak attack. You guys are quite smart. I'm starting to like you guys. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and a strange smile appeared on his face. The 2 mutated wolves knew that they were no match for the 2 of them even if they used spells, so they chose to engage in close combat. It seemed that they were quite intelligent. This made him even more determined to take the 3 mutated wolves as his spiritual pets. Not good. Young Lingtian's expression changed abruptly as he cried out in alarm. The 2 mutated wolves chose to engage in close combat, which was very disadvantageous for the psychic. The reason why Dharma psychics were so powerful was that they could launch long-range attacks and make their opponents tired. On the other hand, a magic psychic's close combat ability was almost zero. Once an opponent got close to them, they were destined to die. Hurry up and cast your spell techniques to stop them. Young Lingtian was extremely anxious. He could clearly see that Su Chen didn't release any spells, nor did he choose to dodge. Instead, he just stood there in a daze, as if he had been scared silly. At this time, the white mutated wolf had already arrived in front of Su Chen. It opened its bloody mouth and bit down on Su Chen's head. It's over. Young Lingtian was certain that Su Chen wouldn't be able to survive this time. Just as he was about to close his eyes and couldn't bear to see Su Chen's miserable end, Su Chen made his move. And once he made his move, it was as fast as lightning. Su Chen grabbed the white mutated wolf's neck, and a vigorous force spread out from his hand. The mutated wolf struggled nonstop, as if it was about to die. Its 2 eyeballs were rolled back. What's going on? Young Lingtian was dumbfounded. Su Chen was afraid that he would accidentally choke the mutated wolf to death, so he directly threw it to the ground. There was a loud bang. The white mutated wolf came into close contact with the ground. Under the impact of the huge impact, a shallow dent appeared under its body. The huge wolf's mouth was foaming and its body was twitching nonstop. Chapter 55. Evolver. He's also an evolver. Young Lingtian's head buzzed as he witnessed the scene. He was so shocked that his jaw almost dropped to the ground. At this moment, he suddenly realized something. No wonder Su Chen didn't dodge or use any spells. He was also an evolver. Moreover, he was a level 2 evolver. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to crush a level 1 mutant wolf so easily. Thinking that Su Chen was a level 2 evolver and a level 2 magician, young Lingtian's heart was in turmoil. His breathing became abnormally heavy. After Su Chen finished dealing with the white mutant wolf, he turned around and looked at the red mutant wolf. The red mutant wolf originally planned to sneak attack, but it didn't expect Su Chen to be so strong. It immediately stopped. When Su Chen's gaze fell on it, The red mutant wolf trembled and whimpered softly, slowly retreating. Can you run away? Su Chen mocked as he walked towards the red mutant wolf. He knew very well that the red mutant wolf was afraid. However, he didn't plan to let it go so easily. In order to tame all of them, besides using the pet potion, he also needed to instill a deep fear in the mutant wolves. Only by using both methods could they become more loyal. When the red mutant wolf saw the evil smile on Su Chen's face, it was scared and turned around to escape. However, could it escape from Su Chen? The answer was obvious. Su Chen was already faster as a level 2 evolver, and with the rapid war boots, his speed was as fast as lightning. Before the red mutant wolf could run a few steps, Su Chen caught up with it. Then, it fell to the ground heavily, just like the white mutated wolf. After subduing the 3 mutant wolves, Su Chen took out the pet potion and fed them one by one. After taking the pet potion, the 3 mutated wolves were like 3 pugs, crawling at Su Chen's feet, wagging their tails and begging for mercy. If this scene was seen by people who didn't understand the situation, they would definitely think that the 3 mutated wolves were Su Chen's 3 dogs, and would never think that they were mutated wolves. Young Lingtian had witnessed the entire process, but even though he had seen it with his own eyes, he still felt deeply incredulous. One had to know that mutant beasts were extremely ferocious. Even if one wanted to tame them, it would be extremely difficult. How could there be someone like Su Chen, who was able to tame 3 mutated wolves after drinking a bottle of potion? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced around. Seeing that the 3 mutated wolves were very docile, he felt relieved. Then he shouted towards the giant tree. Uncle, there's no danger. Come down. Young Lingtian hesitated for a moment before climbing down from the tree. When he came to Su Chen's side, he fixed his eyes on Su Chen and sized him up. When he saw that Su Chen was not even 20 years old, his eyelids suddenly jumped and he asked, Little brother, how old are you this year? 17. Su Chen didn't hide and said bluntly. Hiss. Young Lingtian sucked in a breath of cold air. He was extremely shocked. A 17-year-old level 2 evolutionary. A 17-year-old level 2 psychic. Young Lingtian couldn't imagine how high Su Chen's future achievements would be. My name is Su Chen. I'm Young Hao's friend. Seeing that Young Lingtian was in a daze, Su Chen rubbed his nose and introduced himself. Ah. Young Lingtian recovered and said in surprise, You're Yang Hao's friend? Young Lingtian was a little excited that his son had such a strong friend. In order to survive in the post-apocalyptic world, if he could have the help of a strong person like Su Chen, it would undoubtedly increase his chances of survival. Chapter 56. We are indeed friends. Su Chen nodded and looked at the giant tree asking, Uncle, does the blue fruit grow on this tree? Other than this giant tree, there was nothing else in the Wolf Valley. If there really was a blue fruit, it could only grow on this giant tree. The blue fruits are all with me for in total. You can have them all. Young Lingtian said as he took out 4 light blue fruits and handed them to Su Chen. If it wasn't for Su Chen's help, he would have been trapped here for the rest of his life. To him, Su Chen was equivalent to saving his life, so it was natural for him to give away all the blue fruits. I'll take 2. Su Chen smiled as he took 2 and looked at them. The blue fruit wasn't big, only the size of a longan fruit. Its surface was embellished with a faint blue light, and there was a fragrance that was intoxicating. The reason why Su Chen wanted 2 was mainly for Tan Lin. The blue fruit had a high chance of turning a person into a spirit reader, so 2 was enough. You really only want 2? Young Lingtian asked uncertainly. After all, the blue fruit was a top-grade spiritual material that could only be found by chance. Even if he didn't use it himself, it would be worth a fortune on the market. Could Su Chen resist this temptation? The blue fruit was good, but only to others. Su Chen didn't really care about it. He relied on picking up fragments to increase his strength. If it wasn't for Tan Lin, he probably wouldn't have even taken a single one. Uncle, don't worry about it. Su Chen promised and said, Let's go back. Now that he had the blue fruit and tamed 3 mutated wolves, he had achieved his goal. There was no need to stay here any longer. Okay, let's go back now. Young Ling Tian replied excitedly. After being trapped in the Wolf Valley for more than half a year, he was constantly worried about Yang Qian and Yang Hao. Now he just wanted to go back as soon as possible and reunite with his 2 children. Little Green, you lead the way. Su Chen ordered the green mutated wolf. The green mutated wolf was severely injured by his wind blade, but after taking the healing potion, its wounds had already healed and it was now full of energy. After receiving Su Chen's order, Little Green made a very human-like sound as if it understood Su Chen's words and ran to the front to lead the way. Young Ling Tian, who was next to him, was stunned. He secretly thought that Su Chen was really a strange person. Not only was his strength extraordinary, but his method of taming mutated beasts were miraculous. When the sky gradually darkened, Su Chen and Young Ling Tian returned to the valley. Young Ling Tian's family reunited and cried tears of joy. Su Chen, thank you. Yang Qian walked in front of Su Chen with tears in her beautiful eyes and sincerely expressed her gratitude. You're welcome. Su Chen laughed and said, come to my cave, I'll treat you to barbecue. Since he had killed a mutant wild boar, the almighty oven could finally come in handy. Yang Hao's eyes lit up when he heard that there was barbecue. Then Su Chen took out the wild boar, processed it briefly and began to barbecue it. Soon, the cave was filled with the rich aroma of the meat. Chunge, I don't think it's spicy enough, can it be spicier? Yang Hao asked while eating. No problem. Su Chen turned the switch and increased the spiciness level a little. Yang Qian can't eat spicy food? No problem, we have 5 spices. Young Ling Tian wanted to eat slightly spicy food. It was a piece of cake, all he had to do was turn the switch. The function of the omnipotent oven was utilized to the extreme. The meat was perfect in color, aroma, and taste, and it could even be adjusted. Young Ling Tian and the other 2 were amazed. Chapter 57. The 3 mutated wolves at the side looked at Su Chen's group of 4 chatting and laughing as they ate the barbecued meat. Looking at the pitiful looks of the mutated wolves, Su Chen could not help but laugh. He then took out some barbecued meat and gave it to them. For people and 3 mutated wolves, their appetite was astonishing. 1 wild boar was obviously not enough, so Su Chen took out some breadfruits. Just as everyone was eating with relish, a mournful scream suddenly came from outside the cave, followed by a commotion and exclamation. What's going on? Su Chen's eyelids twitched, and he threw away the barbecued meat in his hand and rushed out of the cave. Young Ling Tian and the other 2's faces also changed, and they all followed behind Su Chen. At this time, the valley was in chaos, and the people who originally lived here were all running for their lives. The ones chasing after them were 8 bear-like mutated beasts that were about 3 meters tall and as big as a small mountain. These bear-like mutated beasts were extremely strong and ferocious. Every time a human fell into their hands, they would be torn in half. Level 1 Raging Rock Bear. Young Ling Tian recognized the beasts at a glance, and his face became extremely serious. Although the Raging Rock Bear was only level 1, their skin was thick and their strength was great. Their actual combat power was not below a level 2 evolver. Moreover, there were 8 of them. Even a level 2 evolver would have to face them. Chungu, let's run. Seeing the humans being torn to shreds one by one, Yang Hao's heart was filled with fear, and his little face turned pale. Su Chen, we can't afford to provoke the Raging Rock Bear. Let's quickly retreat. Young Ling Tian suggested. Although he knew that Su Chen's strength was abnormally strong, he did not think that Su Chen would be a match for 8 level 1 Raging Rock Bears. Run? Why should we run? Su Chen rubbed his nose and said indifferently. The Raging Rock Bear was a terrifying beast in the eyes of others, but in his eyes, it was just a pile of barbecued meat and energy stones. Moreover, it might even drop fragments. Not to mention not running away, he wouldn't let any of these 8 Raging Rock Bears go. Su Chen, you're not thinking of killing them, are you? Young Ling Tian's expression changed slightly. Then he clenched his fists and vowed. If you don't want to leave, we'll fight them. Considering that Su Chen was a level 2 evolver and a level 2 psychic, As well as having 3 mutant wolf soul pets, they had a chance of defeating the raging rock bear. Of course, this decision was also very risky. If they weren't a match for him, they would all be buried here. All of you hide in the cave. I'll do it myself. Su-Chen smiled faintly, then rushed towards the nearest raging rock bear. Killing mutant beasts had a chance of dropping fragments. If Yang Lingtian joined in and didn't drop fragments, then he would suffer a great loss. All of you go into the cave. I'll go help Su-Chen. Yang Lingtian pushed Yang Qian and Yang Hao into the cave. Just as he was about to go out to help, he was stopped by Yang Qian. Dad, listen to Su-Chen. Yang Qian looked at Yang Lingtian and said firmly, since Su-Chen said so, then he has full confidence. Don't go out and cause trouble for him. When she first met Su-Chen, she also felt that Su-Chen was bragging. However, after getting to know him, she realized that no matter what Su-Chen said, he always did it. From killing Lu Shirong to killing more than 300 zombies alone, it all proved this point. Therefore, she was full of confidence in Su-Chen. She also believed that as long as Su-Chen said he could do it, he would do it. There was no doubt about this point. You trust him that much? Yang Lingtian was slightly stunned and muttered in his heart. Is Su-Chen really that strong? He can even kill 8 level 1 raging rock bears? A smile appeared on Yang Qian's beautiful face as she nodded heavily. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.